Welcome back to another edition of Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn, the Hump Day edition of Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. I got to tell you, I'm really excited. We got a huge matchup for Texas basketball tonight. The Zags are in town. We'll get into the previewing that matchup. Top of 3 o'clock, we'll do it here momentarily, but also top of the 5 o'clock, we'll get back to it. Also, we got some very special guests to help us break down the new NIL initiative by the University of Texas to consolidate all of the NIL collectives around the 40 acres, and we'll get some more details about that coming up at the top of the 4 o'clock hour, so tune in for that as well. Also, top of the 6 o'clock hour, we'll get to the Texas-Kansas preview. Of course, Raj around the day, I'll be talking Texas-Kansas as well. We got some Cowboys and Texans news, notes, and nuggets. That's coming up for you at 6:30. College football playoff rankings are out, the latest. We'll get to that coming up at 3:30, and your flex at 3:45. We are loaded, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it. He was a second-round pick for the Montreal Expos, but a first-round pick for the Austin Radio Network. He originally committed to the University of Texas, but decided to forego the 40 acres and chase his dream in the cheese. Pimping ain't easy, but for him, it's a breeze. Mike Hardball Harge. What's going on, brother?
Man, getting ready for this game tonight, Hump Day. This is what it's all about. You come to the University of Texas. We heard the conversation last week when Coach Beard said, this is why you come to the University of Texas. This is what Coach Sark talked about. This is what Vic Schaefer has talked about. There's a lot to be held tonight at the Mood. I'm going to call it the Moody, but it's a mood. But let me talk about my homie sitting across from me. He hails from H-Town with the Get Down. He's a lifetime Longhorn and a proud card-carrying member of DBU. Legendary Longhorn Derek Johnson said he was the best cover corner he had ever seen. He's a former NFL DB that still has that passion for film study, but he's not a fan of white condiments, but he is a fan of you, the listeners. He is my man and yours, Rob Babels.
I appreciate the intro as always. Let's not waste any time introducing the real MVP. He's the ideallionaire of the show, one of the hardest working members of the ARN family. He's got a hustler spirit, period. We don't know what he's paid, but we do know he's underpaid. And he's got a front row seat to most Texas basketball games. My man, Patrick Davis. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm going to take my Advil and get ready because that building's going to be loud tonight.
It is going to be loud tonight.
Man, so loud.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. So, Harge, you are going.
Yep.
Patrick, of course, has to work, but he always does double duty. He can multitask.
That's
So
right.
he's going to be watching and working. And I decided that I'm going to go too. So it's the whole crew, full Monty.
Oh, let's do
We'll
it.
be representing at the game tonight, and it's that big. It's huge. And last night, actually, got friends in town from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, where my wife is from and all her people, and all of them are Zags fans. I mean, it's just the way it goes.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
regional thing. Everybody in the Pacific Northwest pretty much are Zags fans, and they were down, so we had like a few people in town, so we went out to eat and had a really good time. In the next booth, when we were eating at Lambert's, Coach Few was there.
Oh, yeah.
Next booth over.
Hey, what's up, Coach?
Oh man, they were freaking out.
I was going to say,
They
they were
lost
probably gassed
dude.
up, right?
Oh no, they were losing it, man. They were freaking out. So they were pumped up, and it's a bunch of Zags. I'm interested to see how many Zags fans are going to travel.
There's more in this city than you think.
I know it is. I know it is.
Well,
I'm
not talking
curious-
about the ones that flew down, the ones that
Oh,
live
you're
here
talking
now.
about transplants.
Yeah,
actually
there's
live here.
more.
And
than
I'm
you
curious how many Texas fans that are season ticket holders ever protect the mood
Yeah.
by trying to go themselves and go out there and don't sell their tickets, because it is now, like, this would have been a game at the Irwin Center, upper decks open, you put in a
Yeah.
bunch of people in there.
Yeah.
And Texas and then you'll see, like, the other teams will get the tickets closer up, and Texas will be a lot more in the upper deck. Because they're like, I'll just go, but I'll get the cheaper seats up there.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see here if they try and put it in a little bit.
Oh, yeah,
pack
yeah.
it out a little bit more burnt orange. It'll be interesting.
That's a good point, too. Yeah, and I mean, it's such a big game, and most Longhorn fans, and it's such a small venue. What are we talking here, 15,000, 16?
10,000 for basketball.
10,000 for basketball.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
really?
Ooh.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. No, that
I
was
mean,
the
what
point.
is the-
It was to make it smaller,
Wow.
to make it louder and more intimate.
Man.
Was
Well,
the plan.
The Zags, I forget the name of their facility. It's like, 6,000?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No, that's
Oh.
what I'm saying. College
So they
basketball is
won
not
on
meant
now.
to be played because you can sell out 6 games a year, 5-6 games a year
Yeah.
of 15,000. They baffle off those. They have those doors
Wow.
that come down and block
Man.
off the upper deck. Moody Center is normally around 15,000, I believe.
Yeah.
But they block off that upper deck, which makes it louder
Excuse me,
in
yeah.
that area.
Nowhere for the
and
sound
then
to go.
The difference of Moody Center versus the Irwin Center, we got 1,000 plus students on the floor now.
Yeah.
In the front row. So there's no Gonzaga people right by the court.
No,
they're
not at all.
They have to go up
They're
higher.
all spectators. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like you said, it's so few seats available anyway. I wonder if that actually makes it more of a burnt orange impact.
That's what I'm saying.
Just
I'm
tough to
curious
get
there,
seats. Yeah, period.
Yeah.
So we know somewhere in town, and like you said, Arch, I think you're right. I do know a lot of folks from Washington, just from that area, that live here in Texas, a ton of them, and I wonder if they're just kind of waiting. They've been waiting in the
they've
wings
been waiting for this one,
to
right?
represent.
Exactly.
And they're going to come out of nowhere. That is cool, but everybody's excited about the matchup tonight, man. It's really big. So we'll break it down. We'll also get to some college football playoff rankings discussion in the next segment. You're the best part of this show, the heartbeat of this thing. So hit us up on the Specs text line, 512-337-3776. Also, there's the Twitterverse for you. My man Harge is at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse. Patrick Davis, the real MVP at It's Patrick Davis in the Twitterverse. All right, gentlemen, let's get right to it. And Patrick, I kind of want to give you the floor because you've seen a lot of this team, and you watch a ton of college basketball as well. Okay, just overall, how you feeling? Optimistic? How we feel?
So I have a big concern,
Oh, man.
which is a problem
See?
that was a problem in Gonzaga last year.
Oh, no.
And I just don't know how Chris Beard's going to fight it this year, but
Okay.
I know he's got a year to think about how he's going to play
Trying to
against it,
figure it out.
which is we do not have center and big man depth. Now, last year, Gonzaga had Chet Holmgren, too, which added another element
layer,
of
yeah.
size that we did not have.
He can stretch the floor.
But Drew Timme is still on this team. And Drew Timme, I can guarantee you, is going to try and come and eat in Austin tonight. Like, he is coming to play.
Yeah, it's like his fourth time playing his career game in his home state.
Yeah.
So he's excited about it, no doubt. Yeah.
He's coming down to play hard. And I mean, it's a question of Christian Bishop, his defense in this game is going to be huge. He's an undersized center, but he is basically Texas' only real center who can play at that level, and it's not so much about athleticism. He has really good footwork and everything else to play defense. That's the concern is we know Dylan DeSue, he's going to have to try really hard not to get in foul trouble, but
He's got to bang with Timme.
you got to bang and you got to
Yeah.
stay out of foul trouble, which the refs are looking at Dylan DeSue this year. It may not be fair, but in every single game, he's got like one or two kind of real nitpicky calls in him, which means the refs know it's like, hey man, he kind of looks uncoordinated still. So we're just watching out for him. We're going to call travel on him when no one gets that. No, he's not calling that on anybody.
With all the moves that Timmy's making.
Well,
out
no,
there?
but like a catch and a move that Dylan DeSue will do, and they call a travel,
I got
and you're
you.
like, man, you're not calling that on anybody else. Why are you calling it on him?
Okay.
So there's going to be those things, and you just have to worry about him reaching in on something, going up for a big block that the stadium,
just-
but
yeah.
get move
Costly
body, and
foul.
instead of just going straight up and altering the shot enough that it doesn't go in. That's so because if you say Dylan DeSue, if he gets in trouble, and if Christian Bishop starts getting foul trouble, there's not really a lot of depth in that Texas front court to get them to be able to fight through Drew Timme.
You basically got
coming
three
after him.
guys, right? Dylan Mitchell.
And Dylan
Christian
Mitchell is a freshman.
He's a baby, yeah.
And he just doesn't have the meat on him yet.
Yeah.
And I'd rather see Dylan Mitchell. I was talking to Zay before the show. I want to see Dylan Mitchell not match up with Timme because Dylan Mitchell is an insanely good rebounder. But if you block him out and all Timme has to do is put a body on him, he's good enough to do that and go, look, Timme will have 4 rebounds, but I'm also making sure Mitchell doesn't have any rebounds.
And with the size disparity here,
Yeah, and
advantage
so
for the
Mitchell
Zags
can get
this
in
year.
there and, he can get around, and Mitchell can jump a 1.5 feet higher probably than Drew Timme can.
Yeah.
Because I've seen Dylan Mitchell like 3 or 4 times this season
He's a freak.
where his head is at the rim jumping. And you're like, that's not him trying to jump out of the gym. He's just, hey, let me go get this alley-oop. My
Yeah.
head's at the rim. I'm blocking a shot. My head's at the rim. You're like, yeah, it's next level.
Yeah, no, I think you're right about that. Haraj, how do you feel?
I'm
also-
excited. I'm excited for this game because of the things that Patrick just talked about. I'm excited to see exactly who is going to be the guy that is going to step up and make a name for themselves banging against Drew Timme. We know what he did last year, 37 points. He was having any kind of way. And I heard Zay talk about this earlier. He was like the Kevin McHale with all of his moves because he was just moving and shaking. But when I look at this game, it's going to come down to 2 things for me. Turnovers.
It's big.
Turnovers are always going to be
Huge.
big in a game like this because you can get cheap baskets, and that means that you don't give up baskets because that's a lost possession.
Yeah.
The other thing that I'm looking at, who's going to shoot better from 3? Texas has always had this problem to where they struggle from three-point land. Right now, Texas is shooting
19%.
Yes, 7 of 36 from three. And then you look at what they're doing, they're 9 of 30, so they're not that much better.
But they had the aircraft carrier game.
Yeah,
They
that's
shot on a boat.
That's it. Yeah.
So a
That's
lot of
going to be the
people,
biggest difference.
I will say, I'm going to go with
Yeah.
my man Eddie Orrin, where he was like, it's a new building. That three-point percentage will improve through time. And I'll tell you, in the Tennessee scrimmage, they actually did shoot pretty
played
well from
outstanding.
three. So there's hope that was just, a bad game.
It's a small sample size.
They
That's
shot
sample
well
size.
against Arkansas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to your point about the turnovers, totally agree. In live ball turnovers specifically, be great if you can get out and transition and get some easier buckets. And I know obviously Texas has made that a priority for them all season long. So I agree with you about that 100%. You're right. And yeah, I mean, how they played Drew Timme. Last year, they didn't really double Drew Timme. This year, is happening?
And it's not a Chris Beard thing.
Okay.
It isn't. But again, I say he's had a year to look at this. And I don't really know another way you're going to
And you
really
don't have
be
to
able
worry
to
about
stop him.
Holmgren this year, though.
And
either.
I think you can double him with some smaller size and not worry about putting your big guys in the foul trouble as much. That if you get a guy like Serge
It's
Jabari
like
Rice
help
is a
defense.
really smart defender.
And he's long.
He's long. I think if you pull a Serge Jabari Rice over and help out on the double team, that may help you keep some of your big guys in the game a little bit longer, where you go, hey, Christian Bishop, I need you to take the body. And Jabari Rice, I need you to block off his passing and his eyesight with your hands.
Yeah.
But we're not going to try. If there's a foul, you're reaching, Rice. You're the one getting the foul. Your hand goes up anytime there's a foul call. Your hand immediately goes up.
Yeah.
Because we
got guards.
We have guards.
We got
And look,
guards. We
I
got
think
guards.
Jabari Rice
He's
is going to
the
be
guard
big this
position.
game because of his defense.
Yeah.
Tyrese Hunter is going to be huge this game because he is a guy that when this Gonzaga defense comes at Texas, he has been someone that can create with the ball in his hands, which Texas has not really had. Marcus Carr can create. He just hasn't been hitting those shots.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Tyrese
like
Hunter
giving time.
has been.
Yep.
So I think those kind of things are going to be very big in this game. But yeah, I think the double has to be there at least at points. You have to at least show it.
Just situationally, at least.
You
right?
have to at least show it, and you have to say, look, we know Drew Timmy's going to come at us, and if he gets us in foul trouble and he's hitting layups on us, at least double him. And man, if they hit threes on us and win, they hit threes on us and win.
Yeah.
No,
And that is what it is. But come on, we can't let them shoot 5-footers to beat us.
I'm with you.
No,
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. And the biggest thing too, you said it just a second ago, the transition game. That is going to be big. I always look at fast break points too, because those are some buckets. Those are easy buckets in fast break. Those are, you got to steal a couple of those buckets early in the game, because the biggest thing for me, if you can get this crowd, I haven't been in there, but Patrick's been talking about the earphones and how loud it's been.
It's loud.
It's going to get loud.
It's going to get real loud. And if you
Especially,
can put that kind of pressure on a team.
Transition dunks. Something
Yes.
like that.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God. Get the
yeah.
energy going.
Yeah.
Look, we know what Gonzaga is. They're used to this type of thing. They're like the Beatles now because they're coming in town. Everybody knows the career that they've had. I told Patrick earlier, Mark Few has been there since 1990 as a grad assistant.
Yeah.
And then he took over in 1999. There is nothing that Texas is going to throw at him that he hadn't seen. The same thing with Chris Beard. You look at it. For the last 4 years, since 2018, they're 125-11. That's including the 2 games this year. 125-11. You having some good times. You having some good times, and you brought in good players that can handle this. Drew Timme, we talked about it before. This dude has been in college since I was coming to college. I think he was here when you was here, Rod, in 99. It seemed like this dude been here forever.
Does seem like
But while he's here, he's making the most of his opportunities, and this is a big game for me, for Dylan Dessou.
Yeah, and Ken Palm, I was looking, they have Texas basically as their top defensive team.
Yeah.
Adjusted defensive efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
That defense has to materialize and turn into offense somehow. That's those transition buckets we're talking
buckets,
about.
man.
So I totally agree. Yeah, create turnovers. Hopefully they're live ball turnovers. We can get out and transition and get some of those easy buckets. The other thing that was interesting because I heard Zay talking about this. My man Zay does a great job. He knows his ball. And Chad and Zay. That's the name of the show, I believe.
Yeah,
Midday with Chad and Zay. Is it official?
Midday with Chad and Zay.
I like how they didn't even announce it. It's like, just happened.
Just smooth with
Just
it.
smooth. Yeah, I guess so. But he was talking about how Texas wants to push the rock. They want to play. They want to play fast, get out in transition, and that he said the Zags would rather play half court so that Drew Timme can go to work.
Yeah.
And
create fouls.
I think the Zags can play both ways though. Zags can right?
Yeah.
Zags can get out and
I mean,
transition.
when you have
athletic.
top talent like that, you can run the ball.
Yeah.
And but it's the thing of, look, we can play half court better than you can run the ball.
There you go.
And you have decent, and like Texas has athletic big men that can fly down the court and block shots. And I know it's a different level of talent, but Houston Christian, there was a couple, I mean, they had 10-foot leads driving to the basket, and you see the guy trying to get to the basket, and that ball get put off the backboard.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I just had to steal with 10 feet, and I still get blocked, and I'm on the ground looking up, and
Evaporated like
they're
that.
scoring on the other end.
Yeah, no, you're right. And no, that's a good point too. So yeah, the Zags, they probably prefer to play half court because they can get the Longhorn bigs in foul trouble.
For
It's
sure.
probably an easier way to get the Longhorn bigs in foul
and
trouble.
even if it's just foul trouble, if you're making Christian Bishop stay on that court 30 minutes a game because he's the guy who can bump with Drew Timme, and Dylan DeSue, you're making him stay on the court more, and you're bumping him every play. Drew Timme's more used to that than those guys are because Chris Beard runs a pretty tight rotation.
Yep.
So it's just Drew Timme, as this is his 78th year playing at Gonzaga, he knows how to do it.
Yeah, and I worry about his savvy moves. He got the Michigan State players in a ton of foul trouble.
Oh, absolutely.
He can shoot with both hands.
Two guys end up fouling out.
That was the story of Drew Timme, was that when he first started, he's a natural lefty, and so Mark Few told him, hey, I want you to only shoot with your left hand because it's your natural hand. It'll be easier. And he's like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I can go both ways. And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Is that's why I'm so talented. Is
'Cause I
because
can do it, yeah.
you don't know which way I'm going.
Yeah.
You can't shade me one side or the other. So I can always kind of get around you, because if I can only go left, you just shade me with my
It's
left
pretty easy.
and make me shoot with my right.
Yeah.
I can go both ways.
No,
Yeah.
you're right. No, he does. I mean, Michigan State late. They just could not figure it out. He took over that game.
And another thing, too, to look for is Julian Strother. I think that's how you say his name.
Yeah.
6'7" guard. Think about that. That's a 6'7" guard. In Texas, they're using those 6'7" guys as forwards.
Yeah,
so
their
there's
guards are like 6'3",
yeah,
6.
Yeah, their point guard is 6 foot.
6 foot.
Yeah, so there's some things of mismatches that you're going to look at, and that's what this game is all about. It's a chess match, and these guys are going to have to match up. But I believe this. I believe, obviously, Coach Beard's team play hard. They're going to make you very uncomfortable. I told you those are some of the things I'm looking at. The main thing, though, is the refs. The main thing. How are they going to call this game?
If you call this game tight, that's going to be real hard on Texas.
It's going to be a bad matchup.
Because they just don't have
that.
They don't have the front court depth.
Exactly.
Because if we need to have, and look, I love Timmy Allen. I love the way he plays. If he's guarding Drew Timme for 15 minutes of this game, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Like, he can be a double help because he can be physical. If we need him to bump, and like if we run Dylan Mitchell over on the help and Drew Timme on the body, I'm fine with that. But you cannot have him with just Drew Timme shooting over the top of him.
Crash
Because
the
Timmy
boards.
Timmy Allen is a really good player.
Yep.
He just doesn't have the size to go up against a guy with that size.
Yeah. No, I'm with you about the boards too. As Patrick
Gotta
mentioned,
get to them
start
boards,
out, I'm
man.
concerned about that with the height advantage, even at across the board, right?
Yep.
At every position, pretty
Every
much
position.
for the Zags, and how Chris Beard decides to match up with that's going to be huge.
Yeah, and we could definitely see that a lot of on the offensive boards, that the Gonzaga really crashing the boards early to try and test Texas to go, no, you're not going to be able to get out on fast breaks because
You got to stay here and
because
concentrate on
otherwise it's
crashing
2
these
points
boards.
for us because we're going to go back up, and if you got a guy leaking out, it's a 4-on-5 for us, a 5-on-4 on us every time.
Yeah.
Totally agree. That's a great point in terms of strategy. I can't wait actually to see the strategy go back between Chris Beard and Coach Few, the chess match, if you will, going back between those guys. That's going to be fun to watch. Hard's is going to be there. I'm going to be there, and Patrick's going to be there too. Late. A lot of people are upset about the late tip off, but
Hey man, if I didn't have kids, it wouldn't matter to me. I got children. That's the one thing. I was like, but hey. You'd only get this opportunity not so often. You know, I was talking to Chris Clack earlier today about some of the games that they played in. I was at the North
what's the
Carolina.
biggest one that he brought? North Carolina?
Yeah, North Carolina, because they were playing against, I forgot, Antoine Jameson and Vince Carter were in that game. So, yeah, those are some of the games. Simon and Bibby, they played against them. My cousin Ira Clark told me, he was like, the biggest game was Arizona. And I think they went on to win the championship that year. So there's some good games that have been played here in the Frank Irwin Center that you forget about. And now you get this one, Gonzaga coming in the house. This is huge.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It is. It's really big, and of course, not necessarily not the first, of course, sporting event in the move, but definitely the biggest sporting event up until this point.
We're not bums, CDC. We're gonna be in the house.
The whole crew is representing. So next time CDC comes on, we can say, "Oh no, we've been to the move for an actual sporting event." No doubt about
that. That's right.
Yeah, and you can, if you want to get mad at for the late start game, you can blame it on Eastern Michigan and Kent State. Because it would have been an 8 p.m. game if it was another basketball game, but it's a football game. So they built in a 30-minute window to not bump the game back.
Shout out to my man CB out there in Washington on the West Coast.
That's right.
Without them Zags fans.
Yes,
so.
he is.
I'm sure there's a ton of them around him, but he'll be wearing burnt orange. We know that. But yeah, I will come back. We'll get into the college football playoff rankings on the other side and talk about the latest rankings and the representation of the Big 12. Dwindling, but still strong at the top. We'll talk about that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. We know the weekend's fast approaching. It is hump day, so you want to get headed downhill to the weekend. And the weekend's all about having a good time. And having a good time, folks, that's what's being had at Twin Peaks, at your local Twin Peaks. Everybody there is having a real good time. And it starts with that good food at Twin Peaks, right? You need the good food for the good times. And they have a great scratch menu. Every delicious dish on the menu is made from scratch. So if you're thinking about a new favorite spot for lunch or for dinner or those late night eats, don't forget about Twin Peaks. Also, don't forget about their happy hour. It is back and better than ever at Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, they have everything from tequila cocktails, an extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over ice balls, local craft beers, and handcrafted whiskey cocktails, which round out an adventurous drink menu second to none. And don't forget about Twin Peaks 29-degree man-sized drafts. For me, it's Bud Light, but whatever your beer of choice, trust me, it tastes a whole lot better when it's a 29-degree in that man-sized draft mug at Twin Peaks. And if you're a fan of Twin Peaks like I am, go to TwinPeaksRestaurant.com. You can sign up for their e-club there. You get all types of free stuff, but also they let you know everything happening at your local Twin Peaks. And your local Twin Peaks, the Stassi location, the San Marcos location, or the Round Rock location. That's Twin Peaks, Eats, Drinks, and Scenic Views. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is time for midweek movie music. You know how it works. My man Patrick does a great job as always, but he gathers songs from a soundtrack, from a movie that inspired him. He plays selections from that soundtrack on the show for midweek movie music, and based on that, Harj and I are supposed to guess exactly what the movie is. Oh man, this is this should be obvious.
There's two ways I can go with this.
Okay, go ahead, man. You seem like you were confident because you pretty
Superfly.
Okay, that's good.
Or Shaft.
That's the second one is where I was going. So
Okay.
what is it?
Well, I mean, listen to who's singing.
It's Curtis Mayfield, ain't it?
Well, then that should give you a real big hint because
Yes,
Isaac
Superfly.
Hayes did Shaft.
Yeah. Superfly.
It is Superfly.
There you
Yes.
go. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
So after last week, we played Prince, and we were talking about great album soundtracks that were done by one
Yeah.
guy. So I thought we'd play some Curtis Mayfield this week.
Well done.
Great job.
Not going to complain about that at all.
Not at all.
All right, midweek movie music. The focus will be Superfly.
Superfly.
Like that. All right, and Curtis Mayfield. Did he do the whole thing by himself, or did he?
Yeah, I mean, it's
feature-
basically a Curtis
It's
Mayfield
all
record.
him.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. It's like
Like
Purple
it.
Rain.
I like it.
All right, we'll get back to some great selections by my man Patrick for midweek movie music. Superfly. All right, let's talk about the college football playoff rankings, gentlemen, because I got to tell you, I mean, they didn't really shake much up at the top, at least I should say. You do have Georgia at number 1, Ohio State at 2. You have TCU representing the Big 12 at number 4. Michigan is at number 3. At number 5, they have Tennessee. 6 is LSU. 7 USC. 7 and 8 Alabama in the top 10 of the college football playoff rankings. Harj, let me ask you this, just kind of looking at the top here, the top 8, which essentially that's going to be who decides this thing. At
Right.
this late in the season,
There's nobody's
crashing the party.
No, there's no party crashing.
And Texas, by the way, is out of the top 25. Should have said that too. And I believe K-State is the only other Big 12 team representing. We'll get to the list.
Oklahoma State is still there at 22.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
That's
thank
right.
you very much.
Oklahoma State is at 22.
Thank you very much. So you got 3 teams. But what are your thoughts about how this thing may end up playing out now that we're close to the end? We're getting close to the end.
This is the one thing that always kind of makes me crazy sometimes, right?
Okay.
So you're sitting here and you're looking at it, and some of these teams are going to cross each other out.
Yes.
You look at
Ohio State,
and Michigan
That'll
are
happen.
about to play.
Yep.
They're going to end up crossing each other out. And then you look at Georgia.
Okay.
Georgia's impact is going to be a little bit different because they've already committed to playing in the big SEC
title
championship.
game.
Yeah, the SEC championship game, and they're going to end up playing LSU. So if LSU goes and beats them, does that automatically knock them out? I wouldn't think so, but that's how everybody looks at it. So then you look at, so why can't we look at this Michigan-Ohio State game? They're going to say, well, who did they each other play by getting to this thing? Yeah, that could be part of the conversation, and it always has reared its ugly head to it. But you still are going to look at it because the SEC seems to always get 2 teams in it. But the Big Ten, whose both of these teams are 10-0, they've done their thing, and they're going to knock each other out. But the Big Ten won't have 2 teams in it. We're still looking at TCU. If TCU plays its way out, now everybody's like, oh, well, they're a real contender now. They should have been in the conversation a long time ago.
If they win out,
yeah,
they're
if
in.
they win out,
They're
they
in.
should be in.
But if they get one loss-
if they get beat in the Big 12 championship game,
They're out.
They're out.
But you're right. If Georgia gets beat in the SEC title game, they're not necessarily out.
Right.
They still got a shot.
They're
still
still
control
in
their
the
own
game.
fate.
Yeah.
It's just a respect they have for the SEC. And
Yeah,
that's why
for sure.
LSU is ranked over USC.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right?
Yeah.
What other reason could you have for having LSU ranked over USC other than, oh, no, we should respect the SEC more,
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
right?
Yeah.
mean,
But
it's
I
just-
also look at, for me, when I look at USC and I've watched them play, regardless of who it is, yes, they have that one loss, their offense is dynamic.
It is.
They have done some amazing things, but they just lost their running back, Dye. He ended up getting hurt, and they said he's going to be done for the year. But next man up over there, and they still have Caleb Williams, who's a Heisman Trophy candidate.
I know.
You know, it's just like
Yeah, and the Heisman Trophy this year is kind of up for grabs.
it's wide open right
I
now.
mean, really, the last 2 weeks, somebody can win the Heisman Trophy in the last 2 weeks this
And it
year.
looks like that's what it is because
It could.
nobody is the
No.
runaway contender.
Nobody's a front.
Each
nobody's
week
a front
has
runner.
changed.
Yep, totally agree. It could be C.J. Stroud. Right now, I guess C.J. Stroud would probably be
The one that
the
is the
leader, but-
unanimous one right now.
Yeah, but I'm with you. If somebody
But
has
Hooker's still in the conversation.
Hooker's in the conversation.
Yeah.
He's right there. Hell, Max Duggan would have been
Max-
there if he had a
yep.
decent game against Texas, but Texas put the handcuffs on him. No, I'm with you. I think I think once again we all agree there's SEC bias, and maybe there should be. I'm not saying that, but you're just pointing it out.
Yep,
that
that's-
it's pretty obvious that it is because Alabama. You could argue Alabama's still ranked too high. That's just out of
respect
for
because
Nick Saban
exactly.
and the SEC.
And we've been saying it all
Yeah.
year because every game has been a close game because they're penalizing teams for certain things, but they're not penalizing Bama for the same things that they're throwing at other people.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
like they're
controlling the game.
Yeah, like you've been in too many close games,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
they have too many comebacks, and yet if the SEC has that, they'll be like, man, this team's got a lot
Man,
of
they've
grit.
been doing it. Oh my
They're
gosh.
really competitive. Yeah,
They
pull-
face adversity and pull it out.
they know how to pull out a close win. This team knows how to win.
This
They
team knows how to win.
Yeah, no, you're right. See, I totally agree with you, and and like I said, it may be warranted. Like maybe it is because the SEC
Right.
is the big dog, but I think the Big 12 actually is getting more love this year too. I mean, and I think it's because of TCU, of course, keeping them in the conversation. But yeah, Oklahoma State being in the top 25, K-State's 15
Yep.
in the college football playoff rankings. Because they still believe that K-State is the highest ranked 3-loss team, I believe.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're right there.
Yeah, so I think that's a little respect for the Big 12 that they had K-State as at number 15 at 7-3.
And UCLA is 8-2. They've been playing really good football. Washington, Notre Dame is 7-3. Florida State 7-3. UCF 8-2. Tulane 8-2. Oklahoma State 7-3. Oregon State 7-3. NC State 7-3. But Cincinnati, remember Cincinnati got into the playoff last year.
Yeah.
They're 8-2. They got them at 25. They lost all those players, a bunch of coaches off of that staff, still 8-2.
Yeah.
And they were like, nah, man, you need to go on back down.
Yeah, they don't have
You had your opportunity.
they don't because they don't have the star power
Right,
either.
right,
Yeah, I mean that's part of it too. No,
Great job, Luke Fickles. You know what your prize is? You don't get even invited to the conversation.
not a sniff. UCLA though, they got a chance to break up the break. They still haven't played
Yep,
USC.
that's
correct?
their last game.
They got that rivalry
That's their
game
rivalry
coming up.
game, yeah.
That'll be, I mean, that'll actually be really, really interesting because UCLA is pretty good this year. Chip Kelly finally took him a while,
Mm-hmm.
but he's got things turned around. And a team we don't talk enough about though.
Actually, they play November 19th. USC and UCLA. They play this
They're
weekend.
playing this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's going.
That's play this
Because
weekend.
USC's been in some tight games. They
Yeah.
haven't been blowing teams out.
No.
That'll be, and I don't know where that is. Where is that? Is
It's in the
that it-
Rose Bowl. It's at the Rose
I was
Bowl.
gonna say not that it matters,
Yeah.
but yeah. I didn't know. Okay. Okay. Anyway, the North Carolina Tar Heels,
Mm-hmm.
I think are worth discussing. At 9-1, are they not getting enough respect at 9-1? Because you got a lot of 8-2 teams ranked ahead of them, whether it be
Mm-hmm.
Utah, Penn State, Oregon,
Alabama,
Alabama,
LSU.
yeah. Clemson, of course, is 9-1, but they ranked right sandwiched in between Bama and Utah at number 9. What are your thoughts? Because
Rod, you know what it is, Rod. You know exactly what it is. They haven't controlled the game enough.
they are in some
They have
wacky
to,
games.
yeah, they have to come
And
from
was
behind.
that Appalachian State? Who was
Yeah,
that?
remember
earlier?
we were watching that.
Yeah.
We were like, wait a minute, are they still? Are they having to fight Appalachian State until the very end?
They
I think
did.
I think App beat them, didn't they?
Well,
No. They ended
won.
up winning
They
it.
won.
That's
They
right.
won,
They
lost.
ended up winning it.
I can't even think of it at the top of my head,
Yeah,
actually.
they
what their
ended up
win-loss
winning
is.
it. That's
Yeah.
right.
But they, I mean, I think they're probably the least talked about.
Their loss
One-
was Notre Dame.
Oh.
That's their bad loss.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't
And
even
it's not
call
a
it
bad
bad.
loss because
That's
now
right.
Notre Dame's a top 25
Exactly.
team, so it's not a bad loss
Remember,
anymore.
we wanted
They've
everybody
righted the
wanted
ship.
Marcus Freeman fired.
I didn't want to fire. I thought he was doing a terrible job to start, but it's taking them a while to right the ship, and they certainly done that, especially with that big upset win over Clemson.
Yep.
Okay, how about this though with Drake May?
Like it.
Dude, Drake May's the real deal. So random stats since 2010, QBs with 3,500 plus passing yards, 35 passing touchdowns and 500 rushing yards and 5 rushing touchdowns in the season. RG3, Johnny Manziel, Marcus Mariota, Deshaun Watson did it twice. Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, Mackenzie Milton, and Taj Boyd randomly on that list. Drake May is 1 passing touchdown and 88 passing yards shy of doing it in just 10 games.
Right. 3,996 total yards, 39 TDs, and just 3 picks.
Yeah.
Balling.
Yeah.
And
No,
you remember his
he's-
brother was a basketball player for North Carolina as well.
No, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, his brother was a big-time basketball
Family
player.
got
that's
family
right.
them genes, huh?
They got them good
The DNA,
genes.
man. Yeah, so I don't know why North Carolina's not getting a little more respect. I think because the ACC also overall
Right.
is
That's what
considered
they're saying.
down this year.
But again, you're playing the people that are on your schedule and you are beating them.
Amen to that,
and
brother.
you're figuring it out. So going back to what you just said about his numbers and talking about the Heisman wide open.
Oh, good
So
point.
you look at CJ Stroud. He's got 2,800 total yards, 34 total TDs, and 4 interceptions. You look at Hendon Hooker, 3,200 total yards,
Wow.
29 total TDs, and 2 interceptions. Blake Corum is a guy that's been in the conversation, running back for Michigan.
Yep.
227 carries, 1,349 yards, 17 touchdowns. I just gave you Drake May's number.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, 3,200 total yards,
Wow.
37 total TDs, and 2 interceptions. Stetson Bennett, 3,000 total yards, 21 total TDs, 5 interceptions. And Max Duggan, 72 total yards, 29 TDs, total TDs, and 2 interceptions. How's Drake May not
in that
at
conversation?
the very top of it?
Yeah. No,
If it's
I
all
didn't know
about
that.
productivity and winning teams.
And winning. He's
and
winning.
teams. They're 9-1.
He's winning.
They're 9-1.
That's crazy. I didn't realize
Right.
his numbers were that comparable
Thank you.
to all the other guys. I knew he was killing it. That's why I gave that stat just now, but I didn't know that basically he should be in the Heisman. I haven't heard anybody mention him in the Heisman conversation, honestly.
Right. That's what
Not
I'm
at all.
saying. Like everybody's talking about this guy. That's why it's when you start looking at the Heisman information and the totals and how people start projecting certain guys, it's like, don't we need? I know we have to have front runners, and I know we have to let things go, and you got to have these watch lists and all this other stuff. But as the season goes on, we wasn't thinking Hendon Hooker was going to be in the middle of this conversation.
No.
And we doggone sure wasn't thinking about Drake May.
No way.
But now it's starting to work itself out, and you're looking, it's like, I thought if the criteria is what everybody keeps talking about, he's winning. He's on a
games.
winning team.
Yep.
And he's mainly the
productive.
reason
He's prolific.
why they're winning.
He's prolific.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I don't know why we haven't talked about Drake May. I guess we just started the campaign then.
Yeah, we did.
Drake May for the Heisman. Yeah.
And
no.
of course, Mac's going to get up there and tell him all about his quarterback and how important he
He's
is to
a
this game.
freshman, right?
Redshirt freshman.
Redshirt freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that is wild. And my man CB always with the factoid says Mac looking to win his first career ACC championship and only his 3rd conference championship ever. 05, 09, Big 12 championships he won here at Texas.
Yep.
Yeah. I know, Mac. Yeah, championships have eluded Mac. Mac's, recruited some of the greatest recruiting classes in the history of college football. Had some of the greatest seasons in the history of college football. Won championships, but he 3 conference championships and the 1 national title. And Mac should have definitely been able to win more.
Yeah.
And I'm part of that too. That's on me.
It's on me, baby.
I'll take some ownership on that. We should have won a championship when I was here. We were good enough. Trust me, we had enough talent, and Mac's a good enough coach. We could have got it done. All right, we will get it done. We'll get the break here. We'll come back with the flex on the other side. We'll tell you about some of the high school football playoff matchups coming up, but also what we're really proud of here. The flex group been working hard.
Oh, yeah.
And we're getting ready to finalize. I believe it's actually already being tabulated, our all flex team. I don't know if it's done, but we'll get into that a little bit too, because that's coming up on the horizon for the flex fans out there. So all of that and more when we return right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn, Rod Babers here. The average home here in Austin sells for over the asking price because it's one of the most competitive housing markets in the country. Orchard's win-win program is giving you a chance right now to take advantage of this really lucrative market right now, because right now they're going to make you a solid guaranteed cash offer on your home. Yeah, they can do that. A solid guaranteed cash offer. We're talking about a real offer, not a lowball offer. They're not just some home buying company trying to get over on you. No, they want you to win. They call it their win-win program. But also, my friends over at Orchard not only will make you a solid guaranteed cash offer, but also they're going to handle the upgrades, the listing, and the showing of your home. Yeah, all the headaches of selling your home are going to be taken away with Orchard's win-win program. So on top of that, all right, here's the second win for you. That's your first win. The second win is when your old home sells for more than your cash offer, they're going to let you keep the extra. That's right. Basically, they're going to handle the sale of your home. They're going to make you a solid guaranteed cash offer. All right. They're going to guarantee the sale of your home. They're going to handle the listing, the showing, and the upgrades. But when it sells for more than your cash offer, they're going to let you keep the extra. That is a win-win. So right now, great chance for you to take advantage of this fantastic opportunity to maximize the value of your own home without the hassles of having to do it yourself. Reach out to Orchard at orchard.com. That's orchard.com, ORCHARD.com. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Time for midweek movie music. That's right, midweek movie music. My man Patrick does a great job taking selections from the soundtrack of a movie that inspired him. And this week's movie, Superfly. Beautiful thing.
Superfly.
Oh, man. There you go. So, great soundtrack, of course, because Curtis Mayfield essentially made the entire soundtrack. And I believe he was inspired actually by his last week's selection for midweek movie music, which was Purple Rain, one of Harge's favorite films.
Oh, yeah.
And then we talked about great soundtracks. They were essentially one artist soundtracks or one band soundtracks. And this was one of the great ones that Patrick brought up. So today, we're doing Superfly for midweek movie music.
Dig it.
All right, so hit us up on the Specs text line 512-337-3776. It is time for our Flex segment. Go to FLXATX.com, FLXATX in all your social media platforms as well. And just so you know, November, it's coming up, like November 28th, I believe.
Yep.
Official.
After Thanksgiving.
Yeah, after Thanksgiving. Official. We are going to drop our all flex teams, basically our top 3 at every position for our all flex team. That's coming up. So we've already, I believe we've already kind of voted. There's like a system that we were using to tabulate votes for certain guys, and we're going to end up releasing that in full November 28th. We'll be doing offensive line, D-line, linebackers, DBs, wide receivers, and quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably can guess that a lot of these players that we've been talking about all year long who will probably be on that list, but it's based on our own everybody's got their own individual assessment and evaluation and criteria. So we don't really have a set criteria. If you're asking like, so what do you have to do to make the team? We don't really have that. It is kind of who we thought were the best players individually, but we did not reveal our votes. It's anonymous.
No, it's everybody just send in different things and
we don't conspire.
That's exactly. Exactly. Also, make sure you go to flexatx.com. You can get the schedules for this weekend's game starting on Friday.
That's right.
There's a lot of games that start tomorrow, and you can also check out volleyball as well. They're still in the playoffs. Liberty Hill is still playing. Dripping Springs is still playing. So you can check out where they're going to be playing their games as well.
Yeah, no, and this weekend, man, you do have some big games, of course. I know everybody's excited about Lake Travis and their big win. So Lake Travis versus Cibolo Steel.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge game.
A 6-4 Lake Travis team versus 11-0 Cibolo Steel.
Yep. and again, the first time that they played each other, Sam Self, who is the wide receiver for Lake Travis, had to play quarterback during that game.
Yeah.
And they only lost by 7.
Ooh.
So that is the biggest thing. And you know as well as I do, this is the time of the year where if your running game is on point, you got a chance.
No doubt. That's a good point. And Kinfolk.
Yeah, Kinfolk's been doing his thing. And the quarterback, Leon, who's kind of taken over for Bo Edmondson, who was dealing with his injuries. He's having a good run right now, so it'll be big. But Bo's been able to play. He came in and did a couple quarterback sneaks. He's done some handoffs. He did some things the other day.
So he's not playing the entire game?
He's not playing the entire game.
Is it situational?
He went out there and had some fun.
Okay.
He went out there and had some fun. Scored a touchdown as well. Ran a quarterback sneak on the goal line.
And
he decommitted too.
He decommitted, right?
Yeah, from Michigan State.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yep.
But Lake Travis 6-4, a weird 6-4 because they've been dealing with injuries and at the quarterback position all year long. But man, they could be dangerous right now, especially if they're finding their form late.
No
you
doubt.
know they got athletes. You know they're well coached, and you know they got experience.
And Jacob Henry played a monstrous game last week against them. So you know what that defensive line is like.
Yeah, they do. They got some beasts on there, and one of them is Jacob Henry. Yep. And then Westlake, they'll be facing off against New Braunfels, and they'll be trying to keep their winning streak alive.
Yep.
51. They're trying to get to 51.
52. They're trying to get to 52. Yeah.
52. They won 51.
Yep.
Sorry, Westlake. They mean to shortchange.
And they're playing at Rattler Stadium in San Marcos that game.
And then there's the Vandergrift Judson matchup. Vandergrift 10-1 versus Judson at 5-6, and that's going to be at Kelly Reeves. And Dripping Springs versus Brandeis. That is going to be at Hero Stadium in San Antonio. And I heard Chad talking about this too. You could end up getting a Dripping Springs Vandergrift
I want
rematch.
all of that.
That's a lot of
I
of
want
smoke.
all of that.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I want all of that.
Yeah, that would be that. Yeah, that you got to try to. I would try to get out there for that one. That'd be something pretty special. Also, Georgetown versus Magnolia West for Austin area 5A Region 3. That'll be at Mustang Stadium in Magnolia. You also have LBJ versus Port Neches Groves. That'll be at Rose Stadium in Katy down there in H-Town.
Katy.
Rouse versus Lake Creek. Rouse 6-5 versus Lake Creek 11-0. That'll be in College Station at Cougar Field, and Belton versus Brenham. That'll be in Merrill Green Stadium in Bryan. Liberty Hill, also shout out to them. They'll be facing Mercedes in Gustafson Stadium in San Antonio.
And here's the other part of it too. Don't forget Lockhart. Your team you talked to, they take on Flower Bluff, and they will be in Alamo Stadium in San Antonio Friday at 7 p.m.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, Lockhart Lions, man. Getting some love there. All right, so we'll give you – there are more, obviously. We won't go through all the different teams on the schedule, but go to flxatx.com, and you can find out more information about the playoff matchups, but also about volleyball as well, the volleyball postseason. Guys doing a good job covering that for you, and find out details about when our all-flex team will be released. So go to flxatx.com or go to flxatx on all of your social media platforms. We'll come right back. We've got two very special guests that are going to join us to help us decipher the new horizon of name, image, and likeness. The NCAA changed some of the rules, and the University of Texas actually may be a huge beneficiary of it. We'll talk about that on the other side, right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about my friend and yours, Dr. Greg Eckert, his wonderful team over there, because they can handle anything that has anything to do with your general dentistry or your dental health. That's what he specializes in. As a matter of fact, the first time I got a chance to meet Dr. Greg Eckert, he was telling me about this revolutionary technology, and he's always about providing you with the best quality dental care. And he's always on the cutting edge of the technological advances in dentistry, and he was telling me about a brand new procedure that can give you a brand new smile in just one day. You're talking about permanently secured to your dental implants. No time spent without teeth. You'll get temporary fixtures until they can complete your permanent smile, and you'll smile again with confidence and eat freely without pain or discomfort. You're talking about a lifelike permanent solution. So if you've been told your teeth need to be replaced, call Dr. Greg Eckert today to learn about this revolutionary alternative to dentures. It's a brand new smile in just one day, folks. I know it sounds too good to be true. It's not. It's just Dr. Greg Eckert with a U. All right, give him a call, 512-345-3166. That's 512-345-3166. Or visit dreckert.com. That's DRUECKERT.com. Go check it out. And he can handle anything from dental dentistry as well, teeth whitening, dentures, porcelain crowns, and veneers, dental implants, full mouth reconstruction, even root canal therapy, whatever it takes to ensure you're getting the best quality dental care available. That's what Dr. Greg Eckert and his team are all about. So go to dreckert.com, DRUECKERT.com. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Yes, and the movie of the week, Superfly. Thanks to my man Patrick Davis.
Yeah,
We're
Superfly.
playing songs from the Superfly soundtrack. You know, that's all Curtis Mayfield. So it's getting especially funky up in here on the Hump Day edition of Ball Don't Lie. You can be a part of the show. Specs text on 512-337-3776. We have very special guests joining us right now, and we are pleased to be joined by Nick Shuley. And they call him Wheels around town, but it is Patrick, correct?
Correct.
Patrick Wheels Smith.
That's right.
All right, make sure I get it right. But we can just call you Wills.
Yeah, we call him Wills.
Nick Shuley, do you have a cool nickname that we can call you?
Man, I don't. Nick's my nickname, and that's not that exciting.
All right.
It's not that fun, man. Just call me Nicholas.
No. We'll
Your
go back to
mom,
Nick.
your mom will be proud.
Yeah, I
Your
feel
mom
like
will
I'm
be
in
proud.
trouble.
Well, you guys are very important men, all right? And now, initially, Nick, you were one of the founders of the Clarkfield Collective, correct?
That's
and
correct.
you still are, of course.
Yeah, correct.
But
correct.
now we're talking about a transition. And Wills, you were working with the 40 Pack, correct?
That's right. That's
You're
right.
the founder.
Founder of the 40 Pack. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. Founder of the 40 Pack. And now, actually, because of an NCAA rule change about name, image, and likeness, and I'll open it up to you guys to kind of educate us more about this, you now can have a more direct line with the university.
Yeah, that's correct. We had some, I'll call it genius marketing timing on our part, but it was fortuitous in a way that we had kind of approached this subject about a month ago because many of the donors and fans were saying that so many organizations were out there, so many people were hitting them up, and they were trying to figure out what's compliant, what's real, who can I trust, how's this being done, et cetera. And so we kind of kept hearing these stories like that and realized there, some type of, combination or consolidation or coming together could actually be a really good thing. So we started reaching out to all the different groups, and to their credit, everyone was open to it. We, kind of working on it for a month, and then I guess it was 2 weeks ago now that the new NCAA guidance came out. So it couldn't have been a better time where we had everyone coming together, and then the university could help participate and kind of, work with us. And so it just, everything kind of just happened in a perfect little, storm.
Serendipitous.
It was.
So
yeah.
you sit there and, there was a bunch of different names that it's been under, not just here at the university, but everybody used to call it a collective. It was the big collective, and all the different groups were trying to find their way within this. So now that you've kind of brought everyone under one umbrella, does it seem to work a little bit smoother? Because remember, you started yours, you started yours. There's other people that started theirs, but now we're all under one roof. How has that come to fruition where everybody's on the same page?
I think personally, everything we've done with regard to this has been for the student athletes at Texas.
Okay.
And so you had a bunch of people with a passion for Texas and the student athletes and helping out and doing a 501c3 to help. But no one knew where to give and how to give and should I do this one for football? Should I do this for basketball? Well, again, Nick's right. It's serendipitous that all of this coming together with the new NCAA rules has allowed a Texas One Fund. And for Texas, that's kind of what it should be.
Right.
One group to give that everybody knows, hey, if I write a check, it's going to directly impact the student athletes at Texas. We know now, we're lucky, fortunate that the university has backed this. They're behind it. Del Conte sent something out today mentioning it again.
Oh, yeah.
So it's very serendipitous, and I feel like the timing's right for people to kind of come alongside and jump on board and give to have this impact in this NIL world we're in now.
Now, Wills, you actually are going to oversee the Texas One Fund, correct?
This is correct.
Yeah, and it is right now.
This is correct.
If there are any complaints, you can send it to Rod Babers.
Yeah, and Harge.
Straight to the horn. Copy Harge.
Well, okay, let me know if I'm off here, guys. Okay, so it consists of basically 5 different entities.
That's right.
Make up the Texas One Fund. You got the Clarkfield Collective. My man Nick Shuley, one of the founders founders there. You got the 40 pack. Just talking to Wills, one of the founders of that. And you also have Occupy Left Field. All right. Shout out to Occupy Left Field. Love those guys. Horns with Heart as well. And the National Championship Golf Foundation. They operate now as a consolidated group as the Texas One Fund, and Texas is now able to endorse the Texas One Fund.
That's right.
The University of Texas.
That's right.
And okay, so let me know now. Is this thing growing, or is this just it? Stop here?
No. It's definitely growing.
Okay.
So originally the Horns with Heart guys did the long form 501c3. I won't bore everybody with the details, but they did a lot of these first steps in putting it together. And so when we came on board collectively, those guys are still involved. Everybody that was originally in one of these 5 groups is represented still to this day. We also, in all of this, started talking to the people interested, the supporters of the women's basketball program, the women's volleyball program. So all of these sports have come on board and under this roof. And again, there's a collaboration with, now that the university can solicit on behalf of a 501c3, all these sports are kind of getting their groups together. So it is a collaborative effort. We're taking everybody who wants to be involved to get involved.
So when I go say I want to be a big supporter of volleyball. Right. Yep. Volleyball is where I want my money to go. I'm really excited about it, and I want it to be with the Texas One Fund. Do I just go to how does this work?
Well, so on the website you'll see on the Donate Now page
it says contribute now.
Yeah, there's the contribute now.
Yeah, because I'm over here working on it right now.
Hard to get some money. Hard to give it some money right now.
I'm trying to make sure I'm looking out for my crew.
And it's TexasOneFund.org.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And one spelled out ONE. Okay. We'll look for y'all's names in there later to make sure they're in there. So
I'm going anonymous. I'm one of the anonymous.
I'm my wife's maiden name.
But yeah, so you'll just go. There's a drop-down menu on there, and you can select the sport you want. But there's also what we call the general fund as well. So if you have a certain sport you care about, you can go directly to that,
Okay.
Yep. Or else you can give to the general fund,
Nice.
which will work to make sure that all the sports have opportunities. And obviously, I think we'll see how that kind of pans out. But we've kind of challenged each person who cares about a sport to step up and support their sport that they care about. But also, we'll be there to help try to backfill some of that.
Okay. So let me ask you this, Wills. I heard you talking a little bit this morning, talking about the baseball side of it, and you being a former baseball player, and 11.7 scholarships and all that stuff that's involved in it. And I tell Rod all the time, if we would have had NIL, there would have been no doubt that I would have came to the University of Texas because it's the way that the system is set up. And now that you guys have found a way, and NCAA, thank goodness for them, to finally see the light in these types of situations. Does this kind of help I'm just going to use baseball for this with the Occupy Left Field Foundation. But if you sit here and you're looking at the baseball side of it, does that help with the scholarship situation as well? So let's just say Mike Harge is the guy that is getting the scholarship, but Rob Babers is the one that's not. Is this helping a kid like that wants to come to the University of Texas but don't have any financial means to be here as a baseball player?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll make a difference. I mean, we can't sit there and say we're going to make up scholarships and stuff like that. But I do think it's going to make a difference. And I think especially at a place like this where we have the financial resources, et cetera, like that's going to make a huge difference when people are out there deciding where should I go. And it's like, you not only have this great town and this amazing university, but, there's also there's an abundance of opportunities when you get yourself on campus.
Yeah, and the most important thing is the charitable work right now, right?
100%.
So this is one of those things where you get out in the community and they get to see a different part of Austin, Texas that they may not have seen. And a lot of people that hadn't had a chance to be close to these players that are working boys and girls clubs and different things like that, they're able to have access to these players through y'all's charitable contributions, correct?
And I think that's such a key part too. I grew up here. I grew up going to games, and I remember I would stalk the Statesman to try to figure out when the meet and greet for football or basketball was, because I was going to go meet Terrence Rencher and I was going to go do all these things, and I'm probably dating myself with that one. But
you're right there.
My favorite Texas player of all time. Shout out Terrence Rencher.
I did that when I was a little kid to see Rod Babers.
when you were
when I was a little kid. I like what you did there.
I was like in 4th grade.
But through this, look, we're still going to have the official events. We're still going to have those things that the university does. But now there's so many more chances for the kids
Yeah.
to plug in and participate, and we've seen it. Just the amount of events we've done and the amount of things that we've done to put a lot of these students out there, and they have had the best time. I think that's been the most fun. Is in your head you start to get a little executionary. You're like, okay, we got to be here, do this, do that, and then you watch when the kids actually get there and they interact with the people out there, and people are just loving it. And I think
because they're still kids too.
Yeah, and it creates such a connection to the player when you know
does.
them. I know the game's changed for me now, like knowing a lot of these kids, or and like
Right.
it's just you're rooting harder for them in a sense.
Right.
Yeah, the bond gets stronger between
Absolutely.
the community, the fandom, and the student athletes.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
win-win.
You can use
win-win.
NIL to strengthen it. You know what I mean? That bond, that connection. with the guys.
100%. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you guys this, and I want Wills and Nick, both of you guys, to get in on this. Have you guys studied name, image, and likeness initiatives around the country from other universities?
Great question.
And how far along, or where are we? Where is Texas now in kind of the new horizon of NIL?
Yeah, I've done probably way too much
Oh, okay. Yeah, give it to us.
dorky study on this, as well as
That's good to know, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, at the
Yeah.
start, it was I was trying to be as collaborative as possible because we're learning. You're learning as you go, and there's
Absolutely.
not books
Share
on this.
information. We can,
Yeah, and so I had it was almost like I call it co-opetition in a sense of like, hey, let's all get together and help each other. And I think a lot of the other schools were figuring it out. But it was funny because you're kind of bouncing ideas off each other,
Right.
but also kind of keeping things close to the best.
Absolutely. Can't
But-
give you all
yeah,
the trade
yeah, exactly.
secrets.
I'm not gonna tell you how it's made, but I think I learned a lot, and I did some extensive studies at other universities and was kind of helping and just to see how far ahead we are, but at that time. But I think a lot of it's caught up, and there's a lot of strong efforts going on around the U.S. at the different schools. But I still think we're one of the leaders. But it's also counting on our amazing, not only donors but also fans to get involved. And I think that's part of the reason we rolled this part out was we wanted everyone to be able to say, hey, I'm giving my $5 a month, and this is important to me. I want to make sure these kids not only make money but also work in the community and do some things to really activate that. And so I think it's kind of this, it feels to me like a really perfect storm of getting all this together. And I think it's a big win for everybody who's not just a Texas fan, but anybody who lives here. I think it's going to do a lot of good. The notoriety of some of these players helping out with some of these charities, people are going to learn a lot. There's so many good charities in this town, and we're working to try to figure out which ones we can help kind of unlock, et cetera.
How can some of those people that do have a charity that may not have gotten a lot of love thus far, but now has this opportunity and saying, hey, I want you to bring some guys out here and let them meet, or ladies, have them come out and do the same thing? Because I know that the women aren't looked at the way that the men or the football team is right now. But there are a lot of little girls out there that want to be a UT volleyball player and want to have that conversation. What can they do to get involved with that?
And obviously, this thing has just started, and the website's open for all to send us those requests. Send requests, ideas, charities, everything like that is going to be beneficial. One thing I want to touch on what Nick was talking about a minute ago, which is where we are at current NIL times.
Yeah, right.
I think personally, there's a lot of people who donate to UT. There's a lot of fans of UT. And I think they're wondering about NIL. Why would I give? What does it matter? Well, no, if you talk to a coach, it's going to help us win.
Exactly.
And we need to win. We're winning on the field. We want to continue to win. We want to win in this NIL area. But number two, I think we're going to have an impact in Austin that can't be understated. We're going to have the ability, if we want to raise the kind of money we would like to raise to be at the forefront of NIL, we're going to have opportunities to help charities, to help kids, to help people all throughout Central Texas. Yeah. And that's a big deal. And to do that, we really need people to come on board and partner with us and give and grow this thing to the Texas standard.
Yeah.
Well, and I think no amount is insignificant.
That's right.
Right.
And I mean that because we've watched it with the reason I got into this whole mess was just talking to a couple of the guys on the basketball team last year and them saying, I was like, oh, you guys are just getting rich on this thing, aren't you? And they were like, man, no, it's not like that. Because all I knew about it was I saw Bryce Young made $1 million. And I was like, that was what I knew about NIL at the time. And then you talk to them, and it was, hey, I'm just trying to take my girl to the movies. I want to go do a nice dinner one night a month or stuff like that. And you're like, these are, these kids, like these quote small amounts to some of us are a big deal to them. And so I think that when you're sitting there being like, oh, I can only give $100. Well, that's a significant amount for one of these kids. It's going to create something that they wouldn't have had the access.
He can
to.
take his girl to dinner.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's big.
Yeah,
Think about it. 3 of us were athletes here. Think about this.
Man.
He didn't say which 3. He
well,
didn't say which
See,
3.
you
I think it's pretty obvious. Well, I mean, just because you have the hair, I know people at home can't see that doesn't mean you can do that to me.
But think about how much work you two guys really put in.
Oh, it's a job.
It's a job.
It's a job for all student athletes. It's a job.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so this is the first time in the history of college athletics that a kid can do, we went to college. We had jobs in college. Those guys couldn't do
work.
that. There's nothing they could do to work. There's no time to do it.
Right.
This is another piece to help student athletes at Texas.
Love that. Yeah. And let me ask you this, Wills. What about the coaching aspect of it? Because I know now the coaches are able to have a little bit more communication with the Texas One Fund.
That's right.
So how does that? Is that just because of the new rule changes?
It's the new rule change. So the NCAA came out, and it's you can find it online, but they're allowed to solicit on behalf of a NIL group.
Yeah.
And so you've seen Vic Schaefer come out. Sark talked about it the other day. Coach Beard talked about it on his show.
It's huge.
All these coaches are able to say, this will have an impact on our program. Please give.
Yeah, it's a game
which
changer.
is huge. It's a game changer.
It really is.
Before they couldn't even get around it.
Even mention
Yeah, you couldn't even mention it.
Well,
Obviously,
so-
they could say NIL is big and please, but they could not say, please give to this organization.
Right. Okay.
It's a game changer.
Okay.
Right.
Well, and what better comfort level for someone if they are giving money? Because you don't know Wheels and me from anybody off the street, but like to have the university saying, hey, let's like this is where you can go. That's a huge deal.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. And Nick Shuley of the Clarkville Collective, creator of the Clarkville Collective, joining us, along with Wills. Also, he is the creator of the 40 Pack, but also now the president of the Texas One Fund. Sorry. Yeah, all the emails are going to go to my man Wills here.
We just have a new Kool-Aid at Texas One Fund. That's for you. You can take all the complaints.
It used to be my nickname back in the day, man. So I can't drink the Kool-Aid sometimes. Let me ask you this, because you have a famous story associated with you now, Wills, and every Longhorn fan knows all about it. Your road trip with the athletic director, CDC. You got to give us the quick version of the story here. How did it happen? When did it all go down? How did this happen? Give it to us.
Well, we were in the Austin airport. We kind of saw each other. I obviously knew exactly who he was. He claims he didn't have a clue who I was. But so he came over and we started talking about going to the game, going up there, and I was with my son. Well, everything started happening. When you're at the airport, flight gets delayed. You can't get on the next flight. There was a flight coming in that had fog, and he's like, we're not flying out today. Let's just drive up there. And I am like, okay. And then he kind of did that deal where he grabs his bag like,
I'm going. Let's go.
Yeah, right.
Like, let's go. I'm going to
And
go.
so I said, fine, let's go. Let's do it. We get in the car, we start laughing, and we laughed all the way to about Dallas, where we thought about flying. And then he's like, "We're going."
But pot committed.
Yeah, pot committed. And I'll tell you, we got to Dallas, and we were really kind of looking at flights, and he's like, "I'll do whatever you want to do." I'm like, "I don't care." And my son in the back, finally, I'm like, "What do you want to do?"
How old is your son?
He was 14 at the time. He's 15.
A teenager. So he can go
And
either
he
way.
goes, he's been on his phone the whole time. He looks up and he's like,
bored.
We should fly. I go, nope. Del Conte's already tweeted we're driving.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the
right.
receipts
That's
right
right.
there. Oh,
You
man.
could have said
I
Del
remember
Conte
that.
already tweeted we're driving to Dallas.
Exactly. No, that's right.
I remember that tweet, and Longhorn fans lost it over that
That's
tweet. They were like,
Yeah.
what?
Well,
You started cyber stalking
right.
you at that point.
That's exactly
You
right.
became a star. You
Who was
became
this
a
guy?
star.
That's right. Well, I'll tell you the truth. That the hotel, some people may remember the hot tub next to the bed. Okay, so we
Yeah,
get
I
in
remember
there.
that.
Man, where's
I
this
remember
going?
that.
I was like, what?
We
I
got
knew how he became president of the
Right.
Texas One Fund.
Get your edit button ready.
What's great is he was like, "What room you want? Whatever." And this is midnight, and we're somewhere in Illinois, and she's like, "Hey, you can have the one with the hot tub." And Del Conte's like, "Here, you can take it." So anyway, so I open the door, and it is a king size bed with a hot tub adjacent. Mm-hmm. And I looked down there, and I looked at him, and he's down the hallway, and he's got 2 double beds. He goes, "You want me to take that hot tub room?" "Yes, sir. Please do it." So he took it.
Did he use the hot tub? I really need to know.
I don't know.
That's
the question.
Next time he's on, I know he busted
that's
y'all
right.
last time. So
Oh,
next
yeah.
time you can get him back. You can get him back with
You're
the
right.
hot tub.
That's exactly
I'll
right.
tell you
Thank you,
this,
Wills.
the one thing the lady said, which made no sense, she goes, "Remember, there's no essential oils in the hot tub." And I'm like,
Which
what are you
means there's
talking
a reason
about?
she says
It's
that. That it's come up before.
Oh, yeah, the story behind that one.
Yeah,
Scary.
somebody had to ask that
That's
question.
right.
They
before.
went wild with the essential oil.
Yeah.
They went
Yeah.
wild.
That hot tub was ready.
Okay,
right.
so you, so once you get to their location, you guys didn't drive back together,
No,
did you?
we didn't. We
Okay.
didn't.
No, we did not.
We made our way back.
Okay,
Yeah, we
all
didn't.
right.
Y'all didn't
all right.
talk for about a year.
That's right.
You just had to go
That's
your
right.
separate ways.
Still
Exactly
can't even
right.
look each other in the eyes when they see each other.
It's an
like,
awkward
hey.
trip, yeah.
That is such a great story.
That is
though.
awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
The very
is
first time I
fantastic.
met Wills, he introduced himself, and I looked at him, and I was like, "Wait a minute, you were on a trip with Del Conte." He was like, "Yeah, man." He was like, "Yeah, man, I was."
Legend.
That is legendary.
A lot of fun.
Okay, so why did they call you Wills?
A lot of speed, like you.
Really? Are you serious? Or are you joking with
It
me?
was the exact opposite. Okay, the exact opposite.
So maybe you weren't the athlete.
That's right.
So it's an ironic nickname.
Still
There's a
learning.
little bit of irony.
There you go. Yeah, it's like the little dude whose name Big. Big.
right.
Hammer.
Yeah,
Okay, I
Biggie.
got you. Yeah.
Brady Perryman's nickname was the Blur.
Pretty good.
All right, hey, well, guys, we really appreciate you guys stopping by, man. We know you guys are real busy, guys, and we appreciate the time and the education.
Yeah,
on name,
for
image,
sure.
and likeness, and the Texas One Fund. Go to TexasOneFund.org. They spell out the one, TexasOneFund.org.
I
All right,
love
thanks,
it.
Nick. Thanks,
Love it.
Wills.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate
Appreciate
it.
Thanks,
y'all.
guys.
Thanks for all you do.
All right,
Appreciate
guys.
y'all.
We'll come right back with Harsh Knock Live. What you got for the people coming up on Harsh Knock
Man,
Live?
I'm still trying to figure out how Wills got his name. You know what I'm saying? No,
It's an ironic name.
it's an
That
ironic
means he ran
name.
really slow.
So we'll figure it all out when we get back.
All right, we come back. We got Harsh Knock Life on the other side, right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn.
Mike Harch here, and I want to talk to you about my friend Sam Dude, the mortgage guru with American Financial Network. You can find him today at homeloandude.com. Home values are better than ever before, and you can use some of your home equity to pay off some of your credit card debt, your back taxes, or even make some home improvements. And you don't even have to refinance to take advantage of that equity. You can do a second lien on your home and pay off some debts. Your credit card interest rates are probably over 20%. So even at today's home interest rates, you'll still be saving a lot of money. You need to contact my friend Sam Dude at homeloandude.com. Now more than ever, if you have any questions about your loan or you're buying a new home, get with Sam Dude, the mortgage guru with American Financial Network. I know that we have a lot of independently wealthy people that work for themselves, and you're probably trying to figure out if you can actually buy a home and credit scores and all that good stuff. Make sure you holler at my man, Sam Dude, the mortgage guru at homeloandude.com. He will take care of you. He'll answer all your questions. He will make sure he leads you in the right direction. Find him today at homeloandude.com, NMLS 299345. Welcome back to a midweek movie theme edition of Ball Don't Lie. It's your boy Hardball Hard. You can follow me at Hardball Hard. You can follow my man at Rob Babers. And you can follow the man behind the glass at It's Patrick Davis. You can also be a part of the show on the Specs text line 512-337-3776. And a special shout out to Nick and Wills for coming through and
nice.
explaining everything that goes on with the NIL, how they brought all these different entities to be under one roof. And matter of fact, that's what it's called, the Texas One Fund. Go to Texas One Fund. You got to spell out the number one, fund.org, and you can learn a little bit there. They got drop-down pages where you can figure out everything. It says, what is NIL? Boom. How it works? Boom. Things that are happening in the news, and most importantly, how you can contribute.
That's right.
And that's a big thing. Speaking of a big thing, we're talking about the Texas basketball game tonight as they host Gonzaga, 8:30 Central Time. What is it, 6:30 for
6:30
for
on the
my
West
man
Coast?
CB?
Yeah,
my man
for the
CB
people
and
at
his crew.
Gonzagas.
The people at Gonzagas. This is a big opportunity. Again, another situation where all eyes will be on this game, on the University of Texas, and a huge opportunity for the Texas men's basketball team. I wanted to talk a little bit about what we brought the show in with. In 2014-2015 season, Austin High's Eric McClellan was on that team. Eric McClellan was he was a baller basketball player. He went to a different university first, but then he transferred to Gonzaga. They made a great run. They've had some good big-time basketball players that have gone to that school. Zach Collins.
Shout out.
He went there. What's my man's name? Himichura, the one that was the player. I think he won Player of the Year one year. He's playing in the NBA. He was the one that was from Japan, and he came in and ball. Ichimura. Good basketball player. They've always had, year to year, they've had some very talented.
They had that. Chet Holmgren was there last year.
Chet Holmgren, the
number 2 overall pick.
Number 2, ended up getting hurt this year playing for Oklahoma City Thunder. But I wanted to break down a couple of things about this Gonzaga team. I used to pay a lot of attention to Gonzaga. The reason being that West Coast Conference, that the conference that they're in, it is one that nobody ever understands because there's only 2 teams in that conference that really ball out, Gonzaga and St. Mary's. Those are the 2 teams that always seem to, number 1, cover the spread. Number 2, it's always them playing for the championship. So you got San Francisco. You got a couple of different teams that have made their runs during their time, but they always seem to be the team that everybody's talking about. In 2018-2019 season, they went 33-4. They lost to Texas Tech in the semifinals. That's when Tech went to the championship game. In 2019-2020 season, they went 31-2. They won the West Coast Championship, but the season ended because of COVID.
Okay.
They didn't get into the tournament. That was the year that COVID. And Patrick and I were talking before the show. That was probably their best team.
That was a team that everyone says that was the team that was supposed to win.
That was the
Gonzaga team that was supposed to win the title.
championship. Right.
Okay.
So last year, they went 31-1. They lost to Baylor for the championship.
Wow.
Baylor, that's when Baylor won there. And then last year's team, they went 28-4. They beat Texas. At that time, Texas was the number 5 team in the nation, 86-74. And Patrick, what was it?
What else happened that day?
What
else happened that day?
Memorable.
What else happened? I was very upset because we had just lost to Kansas at home that day.
Oh,
and then I
no.
turned it on and saw us getting our butt kicked by Gonzaga. Not a great day to be a Longhorn.
Not a great day.
But we're going to redeem it this week.
That's what
we're going to
we
beat
have
Gonzaga
right
tonight.
here.
We're going to beat Kansas on
I
Saturday,
like
and we're
that,
redeeming
Patrick.
it.
I
Revenge
like
week.
that, Patrick.
Revenge week. I like that.
Revenge week. We haven't talked enough about Revenge week.
I like that.
But every time I get a chance and I watch this basketball team and what they're capable of doing, and I know people are like, oh, man, why are you pumping up Gonzaga? Gonzaga deserves to get pumped up.
Yeah.
They're the number 2 team
agree
in
with
the nation. Texas is the number 11 team. And again, Texas is favored in this game. Texas is a 2-point favorite.
Oh, they're going up then.
Yeah.
They were like a 1-point favorite.
They are a 2-point favorite. So Texas fans, as loud as it's been in that arena, where everyone's been talking about it. This is another opportunity for the fans to play a major role.
For sure.
Patrick, you told us during the UTEP game, the coach even said, Golden said, I couldn't hear.
Yeah.
We couldn't make calls during this game.
So, like, Chris Beard made the Irwin Center a lot louder last year, right? There was, I believe, the Kansas game was one of the loudest games I ever heard in there. There was a few games last year where Chris Beard really got the student section into it, really got it, and it was loud. The UTEP game was at least as loud as any building that any game I went to in the Irwin Center. So if you can say I don't know it's the first game there, but it was UTEP.
Yep.
And this crowd was lit for it.
Wow.
So now to see what they can do when you're playing the number 2 team in the nation.
And the biggest thing that we've been talking about is something that has to happen for the University of Texas. I don't want to see the referees control this game. I want to know right away if they're going to let them play and get physical, because that's the only way that they're going to be able to stop Drew Timme. Because he has so many moves and he's able to move without the basketball. And those are some of the things. Are they going to be able to let them pressure the ball at the guard position? You know, you talked about it earlier about them wanting to walk the ball up the court, and Texas is going to need to play in transition. If they can walk it up the court, and the way that they walk it up the court is because Tyrese Hunter is going 94 feet with them, going baseline to baseline and making it where they can't get into their sets, that's going to be one thing. The other thing is Texas has to shoot better from the perimeter. And when I mean the perimeter, I'm talking about the three-point line, not the mid-range. I'm talking about the three-point line. That is something that Texas has struggled with. 7 of 36 from 3. Now, Patrick, you've got a chance to see them play and shoot the ball well. I believe it was Arkansas.
The Arkansas scrimmage.
The Arkansas.
That was not televised.
The exhibition
The exhibition,
game.
yes.
That's right. That was charitable. And you sit there and you say, okay, what happened to that stroke? Are they going to be able to bring that stroke to the table today? We looked at what Gonzaga did, 9 of 30. They played on an aircraft carrier.
Yep.
They were playing outside. It was like us playing at the park. That's what they were doing. They tried to make it better, but it wasn't better. They had some guys that looked like they couldn't shoot. But what did they end up doing? They started pounding the ball inside to Timme, and he got to the free throw line, and he got some easy baskets. Those are some of the things. For Texas, they need to pound the boards. Pound the boards defensively. Don't give them second chance shots. Don't let them go back and reset that, because it's going to slow down the tempo of the game. And if you get a chance to run often and run early.
Yep.
That is going to be a huge plus for them, because I've seen this Gonzaga team. They're not like their other teams, because the past teams, they would run because they could get up and down the floor because they had superior athletes.
Yeah.
They had better athletes. They recruited those guys that transferred in from other schools that needed those opportunities. This is a different type of team. This probably, by the end of the year, you're going to want to see if this is going to be Mark Few's best coaching job, because now they're running those set plays and they're depending on Drew Timme. If the officials call cheap fouls early, this could be a long day for both teams.
Yeah.
For both teams.
Well, and that's something to look at, too. Drew Timme does not average a lot of fouls because he's not the greatest defensive player, especially protecting the basket. He's not the most athletic guy. But so that's something where you have a guy like Tyrese Hunter, like Dylan Mitchell, those guys who can go attack the basket. You get it. You know Drew Timme's not going to probably go at you as hard. Go make him work.
Yep.
Make him work on both ends of the court. Make his legs tired in the second half.
And then my last thing about this game, which Marcus Carr are we going to get? Which Marcus Carr? Because now he's not having to have the ball in his hand, dribbling it up, then trying to get into the offense and trying to find his rhythm.
Yep.
If Marcus Carr can come out and play the way Marcus Carr has been known to play, this could be a big game for him, because I don't see anybody, the way that he gets to the basket, I don't see anybody on Gonzaga that is going to be able to stay in front of him. It's that mid-range jumper that he's going to need to knock down, and then if he can get to the rim and draw fouls, that is going to be an important part. So to me, with them being a 2-point favorite, I'm looking at them. I think Texas wins this game tonight, pending on the foul count. That is going to be my biggest discrepancy. If we get out there and they start calling fouls early because, We've had referees that want to make it about them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't let that happen. They got to let these two teams start banging right away, and then they can slow it down. I don't want you waiting until the last 2 minutes of the game to start calling those cheap fouls. If you're going to call them, let them play a little bit, but then just let them know, hey, man, I'm not going to keep giving you that. I'm letting it play early. Because you can talk to the officials. They'll let you know.
Oh, yeah.
If you go in there, and I'm sure both Mark Few and Chris Beard want them to be able to let them go as well. If they can change some things that way, then I got Texas winning this game.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it's interesting. If you guys haven't really watched much college basketball this season, there is a newer thing they're working on, which is flop fouls.
Yeah, oh, my goodness. Absolutely.
Which are great. It's an awesome thing they're trying to do in college basketball. And it's been more of jump shooters.
Yep.
Jump shooters that
Kicking
see a
their
guy
feet.
closing out on
Yep.
them, and they
Yep.
kick their feet out, but they basically just, you take a big flop. We saw one in the last game where they called a foul that was on a flop, and everyone knew it, and I think the ref knew it as soon as he called it. And that same guy got a flop foul like 2 minutes later in the game.
Yeah.
But I think that'll be something that if you see Gonzaga trying to get fouls early, you may see one of those get called to just be like, hey, guys, we'll call it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We will call this game pretty down the middle.
Set the tone.
Like, you're going to have a good officiating crew there tonight. I think it'll be decent. And I get what Hart's saying, too, because I agree. If they call it tight, and they'll call it both ways, that just favors Gonzaga.
Yep.
If they call it looser, it favors Texas. So, but I could see the flop being called early to be like, hey, man, don't try and dictate how we are going to call the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, hopefully that is not the case. What the determining factor in the game, that would suck, especially with these two of the top teams in the country
Yep.
facing all this early in the season. But
Well, and let's be fair. When we're saying deciding factor, it'll be fair. I'm not saying the refs will do a bad job.
No.
It is just how they call the game. And one way favors us, one way favors them.
Yeah.
So if they get it that favors them, it's just not great. But you got to play through it.
Yep, you got to play through it. And I think that this is the showcase game that Coach Beard has been talking about. This is where the Moody gets all the national attention. And again, this is where you learn a lot about your team. Now, this won't be the same team at the end of the season as it is now. We all understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a big moment that no matter how the outcome comes, whatever the outcome may be, this is going to be something that they're going to lean back on later in the season. Matter of fact, both teams will.
yeah, no, you're right about that. We'll talk some more about Texas and the Zags coming at the top of the 5 o'clock. My man Harsh breaking it down there for you in Harsh Knock Life. He'll be there. Patrick's going to be there. Patrick's actually leaving a little bit early to go help set up and get ready. He's actually working the game, but he'll be watching the game too. But also I'm going too, so the whole crew's going to be out there for that Zags game. Big game coming up for Texas basketball. We come back. We'll get into Off the Record on the other side. This may be the most impressive feat in marathon running history. We'll talk about it when we come back right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about Specs, wine, spirits, and finer foods. Well, what can I tell you about Specs that you don't already know? You know that it is the best place, the one-stop shop for all of your needs when it comes to wines, spirits, and finer foods. Of course, they have the best selection, so that's where I get all of my beer, whether it be my Bud Light or if I'm getting my Hot Cat Tequila. That's where I get all of my beer, my spirits, and my wine, and you should go there, too, because not only do they have the best selection, I'm talking about a warehouse-size selection from Specs, but also they have the best prices. They have the lowest prices there at Specs. Literally thousands of wine, spirits, and beers at everyday low prices. They've been a family-owned destination for selection and savings here in Texas since 1962. Yeah, that's a really long time. 4-time National Retailer of the Year, and for plenty of reason, because it's the only place that you need to go for all of your if you need to get your one-stop shop for your tailgating needs or for your watch parties, all of that stuff you need, whether it be the beer, the wine, the spirits, or the appetizers, the hors d'oeuvres, they got it all all there at Specs. As a matter of fact, right now, you can go to specsonline.com. Make life easy on yourself. You can also learn about seasonal releases and cocktail recipes, but also you can go there and get same-day delivery. Yes, right there at specsonline.com. You know, the holidays are coming up. We got Thanksgiving coming up and Christmas coming up. Don't wait to the last minute to get all of your holiday shopping done. You can do it right there at Specs. Matter of fact, you know you got family coming in town. They're going to want to have a good time, right? You know that fun starts right there at Specs. So go there for all of your beer needs, your liquor needs, all of your wine needs for the holidays, and make sure that you're stocked up and ready for the family to have a real good time. That's what Specs is all about. Go to specsonline.com. That's where the fun starts, right there at Specs. Welcome back to Off the Record right here on Ball Don't Lie. Let's get to this story quickly while we got some time, because I thought this was a fake story, and then I saw it multiple places. I saw it at TMZ. I saw it Fox News had it up there, so I'm assuming it's a real story. So how about this? There's a guy, they basically goes by the nickname Uncle Chin, and he is from, I believe, Guangzhou. If I pronounced it incorrectly, I apologize. Just my ignorance. Didn't really know exactly how to pronounce it, but it is a province over there in China. All right? And there's a marathon in China, in Jingde, that is a marathon that apparently this guy, Uncle Chin, ran. He's 50 years old, by the way. And there are pictures and video of this guy running the 26-mile marathon while chain smoking cigarettes the whole time.
Yeah.
The video is video of it. I'm not making it up. And there's witnesses that he finished the marathon. And is it Weibo, the Chinese social media app? An event organizers celebrated him by sharing his finishing certificate with everybody to say he officially finished the marathon in 3:28. Finished 574th overall when he crossed the finish line out of 1,500 runners.
1,500 while he was chain smoking.
Wow, how bad would you feel if a dude was just chain smoking and beat you in a marathon?
Maybe those people were doing it for recreation.
Well, yeah, but also, how bad would you feel if you were the guy right behind him and the whole time like, yeah, dude, man, that's blowing smoke in my face the whole time.
You gotta pass him. You gotta pass him.
That secondhand smoke just killing. And by the way, he's done this before, gentlemen. He became a sensation for smoking during races in 2018.
Oh, my goodness.
He blasted cigs during the Guangzhou Marathon, where he finished with a time of 3:36. And adding to his legend, Chen followed up his jaw-dropping performance in 2018 with another outing in 2019, finishing the Xiamen Marathon in 3:32. This guy's in tremendous shape.
Yeah.
He's in amazing to chain smoke.
You just think that dude when he dies, his body is just gonna like implode upon itself? He'd be like, "Oh no, you were doing pretty good. All your organs are melted."
I know, 'cause marathons are hard on your body anyway.
Yeah,
that's really tough.
You know what's great is he had to buy those. He biting a carton of cigarettes, and the guy's like, "What are you up to today?" He's like, "Running a marathon." It's like, "Nah, not really."
No, for real.
doing?
What are you doing, man?
He's like,
For real.
man, that dude's so funny. And he looks like Uncle Chin. Oh man, that's a wild story.
Uncle Chin.
That's what they call him. They call him Uncle Chin.
I love
Apparently, he's known around the world now, famous for change. He should come to America with this. He's got to come to America with this.
Oh,
man.
you know he's going to, and people are going to be ready for it.
Now that he's going by, we need this in America, because I would follow this. I want to see it, because I want to see him with you. I don't know if Americans would accept him just smoking in their face as he's running with them. There'll be a lot of confrontation. I should say that.
You're
for the marathons.
smoking. We're outside.
That's a good point, because we already
We're outside.
We treat smokers. Like they get kind of banished anyway, right? You make smokers like smoke outside, and they have to huddle up, especially when it's cold outside.
Yeah,
they gotta go huddle up somewhere off.
No, there was times when I was smoking that the worst part would be when you're at a party and there's kids around, and you try to get as far away from everybody because you're like, I get it.
Yeah,
I am
nobody
the problem.
wants me around.
I get it. I will go to the back corner of this yard, and then 3 kids back. Why is he in the back corner? I'm gonna go run over, and you're like, "Now I gotta move. Get your kids away from me. I'm trying."
You already look shady at the back of the backyard.
And then I got 3 kids going. I'm like trying to blow the smoke in there. And come on now.
No. I used to be a smoker too, man. I smoked menthols, and yeah, I remember the days.
I remember you telling me that. I was like,
dude.
"What?"
Oh man, I was a hardcore smoker, man. Menthols, and I enjoyed it. I mean, it was a good thing. But now,
and you a person too that be out there running marathons.
I wasn't like Uncle Chin, but I was in great shape for a smoker. And when I would light up, people were like, "You smoking?" I'm like, "Yeah, no big deal."
I bet you won't race me. I bet you won't race me.
And that's only because of my wife that I stopped smoking. She basically, remember when they raised the prices of cigarettes, Patrick? You smoke. You remember this, right? They put the taxes on it. And she kept we started dating. She kept throwing away my damn cigarettes. Like every day she'd throw them away. Like in my bag, and I was dating her. I wasn't gonna argue with her. I was having regular sex. I wasn't gonna argue with her. So she would throw them away every day. And basically, I got to the point where I got tired of buying them.
Yeah. That's
what broke me of the habit. Pretty much.
I got into the point where I was drinking and smoking every weekend. And then I would come back in. I was working in radio doing spots and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, "Hey, man, can you record this spot?" And I'd be doing Disney on Ice. "Hey, here comes Disney on Ice." My voice just shot. You're like, man, I need to give this up.
Yeah,
no. Messing up my job.
No, I will. I used to, go. At the old place, I should say, it was, you had a crew. Because Patrick wasn't smoking. There was a lot of people that were smoking. And we're going to smoke in between breaks of the show. Like in between segments.
Hey, hold this.
We're
phone.
really
I
right there,
can't do
well,
that
there's
here.
certain companies that work. It's easier because you're on the first floor.
Yes,
When you have to take an elevator ride, it becomes a lot harder.
And then try to
That's
rush
one way
back.
of stopping you, right?
Rush back on time. No, but it's definitely for the good. I'm glad I stopped smoking.
Yeah.
If you smoke, I don't judge you, by the way, because I used to be a
Yeah.
smoker
By the way,
myself.
I judge you more if you vape now, because then you're pretending you better than smokers.
Yeah, I don't judge people who smoke. That's me. I had my time with it and I enjoyed it. Yeah, but I don't vape. No, that's not.
Wow.
No, but
Not
you
doing
see people now vaping. You're like, that's not good for you either.
Yeah, exactly. You just traded one vice for another one.
Yeah, put on
Yeah.
a suit and do it like the 1950s when they're.
no,
you got morning sickness, pregnancies, vape it up.
No, I love back in the day. You would see like doctors smoking in hospitals, telling people about their diagnosis.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there smoking a cig just right there. The Mad Men days.
Man, I can't believe we're going to take your kidney out,
Exactly.
but I got my lungs.
No, they would recommend smoking
Yeah.
for stress. Like
Oh,
back
yeah.
in the day, they were like, "No, you
Yeah,
just
also
smoke."
put
Zig.
cocaine in soda. So I mean, they had
is
some
true.
good ideas.
We're more enlightened now as a people. All right, Patrick, you about to get out of here, right?
Yeah, I gotta take off, get
All right,
down, and get set up.
Thanks for all your work today, brother. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, brother.
Maybe I'll see you at the game. You won't
We'll
see me.
Yeah, we'll
I'll
definitely
You see me?
see you.
Hey, anybody can see me. I'm right there, front and center.
I'll send you a picture of where we're looking
Oh,
at you
yeah,
from.
yeah. I might do that
Yeah,
actually.
that's
Like
what we'll
cyber
do.
stalking style.
That's right.
All right, we'll come right back. We'll come right back and talk the Zags. Actually, Texas Zags on the other side, right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about my friends over at MyBookie because it's winning season over there. That means you can win big. With thousands of sports books to choose from, you need a platform that's simple and easy to use like MyBookie. You can stream games and live bet while you watch it, so every hit, sack, and touchdown could be another shot to put money in your pocket. MyBookie has the biggest online selection of odds, prop bets, and contests to fill all of your sports betting needs anytime, anywhere. Will Dak Prescott throw for more than 250 yards this week? Will he throw for more than 2 touchdowns? Will Micah Parsons have another sack this weekend? You can build your own prop bets at mybookie.com. It's that easy. Sign up free today. Use the promo code HORN, HORN, to claim a half deposit match of any amount up to $1,000. That's the promo code HORN, HORN, to claim your deposit bonus and give yourself the competitive edge. When you play with MyBookie, you're not just betting, you're joining the winning team. Bet anything, bet anytime, and bet anywhere. As long as you're betting with my friends at MyBookie, you're betting with the best. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is the midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie. My man Patrick takes jams from the soundtrack of a movie that inspired him, plays those selections for us for midweek movie music, and we're supposed to guess exactly what the movie is based on those songs, and my man Harge got it. First try today. Didn't take him long at all. Superfly. And then, of course, that brings us to Curtis Mayfield because the entire Superfly soundtrack is all Curtis Mayfield, and that was Pusha Man.
I like that.
Man.
I like that.
That was that's a deep one right there.
I love it.
So appreciate my man Patrick. He is heading out to the Mood. Are we calling it the Mood?
I'm calling it the Moody.
You call
Center.
it the Moody Center?
Yeah,
You don't like the Mood?
I don't like the Mood.
The Minister of Culture, I think officially is calling it the Mood, man.
It depends on what my mood will be after this game.
Well done. I agree with that. Nice. That was punny of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, but yeah, he's heading to down to the Mood. Harge is going. I'm going tonight as well. So everybody's going to the Texas Gonzaga game tonight. Really excited about it. And Harge and I will give you a little breakdown, a little preview of it here and discuss it. And Raj Ram the Day coming up next segment. We gotta talk Texas Kansas. We've avoided talking Texas Kansas all day, and we're moving on from the Texas TCU disappointment. Texas losing that game, and we'll talk about what they can expect to see from the Jayhawks because this Jayhawk offense is. I gotta tell you guys. I don't think we talk enough about it. I mean, I know when Jalen Daniels got hurt, we stopped talking about that Kansas Jayhawk offense. It really didn't skip a beat. The offense. Now the team is not as good. I think Jalen Daniels. They basically they're basically a team that has good front line depth, but they don't have talented depth like at second, their backups and second and third string guys.
Right.
So they started having guys get hurt toward the middle of the season, like every team has guys get hurt, and they just don't have the personnel that can fill in without a precipitous drop in production. But offensively, man, the Jayhawks are right now one of the most prolific offenses in the country.
Yeah.
The truth is, they're
pretty
a better
dangerous.
offense than Texas right now.
They are a dangerous offense.
Personnel-wise, I wouldn't say
Yeah.
that, but statistically, they're a better offense than Texas statistically.
Right.
I'll give you all the stats, but
yeah.
that's what we'll talk about in Raj Round today. Just in case you've been sleeping on Kansas, not a better team than Texas, but a better offense overall than Texas. Sounds crazy. I know, but stats don't lie.
I was going to say, and who would have thunk that at the very beginning of the year?
The numbers do not lie. Now, so Texas doesn't have. They're not going to lose this game. Well, I don't think. I mean, knock on wood.
Man, I'm like, hold up, man.
I don't think they can't lose this game.
I would agree with you, but we can't just say it right off the jump. We got to let it build for the rest of the week.
Okay, you know what? We'll get into the Ross round today. You know what?
I know the number.
You know, if Texas. Okay.
I know.
You know what? We got to start discussing if Texas loses this game.
I'm with you. Texas cannot lose
So that's
this
what I'm
game.
saying. They're not going to lose the game. There's no shot. No shot. Oh, there's a shot.
I mean, do you not remember 57-56?
No, it's the shot. No, the reason they got a chance to win the game is because Texas quarterback is not playing well, and he's going to be on the road,
And it's going to be cold.
and it's going to be cold. That's the reason they got that they got a chance to pull the upset.
Right.
If it wasn't for that, because they are only a lopsided formula to win. They're only a good offense. That's it. Their defense is atrocious, one of the worst in college football, and their special teams is below average.
Okay.
So Texas is better than Kansas in 2 of the 3 phases, and even with offense, Texas, aside from the last 6 quarters, is at least comparable in there. But they're a better offense statistically. So Texas has no reason to lose this game other than being outcoached and your quarterback having an off game. And those things are possible.
They have all happened. We've seen that. Texas is a 9-point favorite right now.
All right.
Texas is a 9-point favorite on the road in cold weather.
Yeah.
And to your point of what you just said, their quarterback is not well right now. He's not playing well
He's
right
not
now.
playing well. And I know somebody said, Rod, you said they had no shot last year. Yeah, I probably did say that.
I mean, you had every reason to say that.
Kansas football, I probably did say they had no shot last year. And this year, this year, they should not surprise Sark or Coach Steven.
Very, very,
They
very
should
true
not surprise
right there.
him. That
I
last
agree
year,
with
you
that.
got surprised.
Yeah,
You were like, this. Remember, that was the first start for Jalen Daniels,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And this might be the first start
Oh.
for him again.
Okay.
Because he's supposedly
Yeah, you're right. He's coming
back.
He's been practicing with the team.
right.
And yeah, I think he's coming back for the Texas game.
I mean, I said it from the very
You did.
beginning. I thought this.
You said when he
if
went
you're
down.
if you're gonna get yourself healthy, this is the time.
You circle that.
You circle
that
that.
Texas game and go.
That's my
Coach,
rehab.
That's my game.
That's my rehab. I'm putting all my work in because I want to play
That
in
game.
that game.
That's my timetable.
Because I want to be a part of
No.
this at our home field.
No, you were right. You said
Yeah.
it when he went down. I mean, you said he's gonna be back for the Texas
I was
game.
like, there's no
I was like,
way.
they said he's out for the year. You're like, he'll be back for the Texas
He's
game.
making it
And
back.
he's back for the Texas game. Yeah, everybody wants that plat. You want that stage.
You
That's
want-
a great
yeah.
stuff, especially after what you did last year.
Exactly.
You want some of that nostalgia.
and the
Yeah,
ability
Jaden
that he
Daniels.
has to move around. Yeah, man.
All right.
Yeah. But I'm with you.
You know,
I'm with you.
I just think
I'm just not gonna say it right
I just think
now.
after losing to them last year and then losing to TCU in the manner in which you did, with your offense being being a no-show.
Yeah. Oh, there's no way that this week the offense doesn't show up. I'm telling you right now,
Yeah.
they will score more than 3 points.
Oh well, yeah.
Offensively.
They better.
I'm going out on a limb.
Dude, they don't score points.
I'm going out on a
Oh
limb.
yeah, go out on a limb, man.
I'm going out on a
I'm
limb.
thinking because this easily become a shootout because Kansas will try to replicate. I know I said we talk about this in Roger Round Day, and we will because I want to talk about the Zags, but they will try to replicate and use the same recipe, if you will, that TCU and Oklahoma State did by stacking the box and trying to take away the run. They can try to replicate the recipe. They don't have the ingredients on defense to really do it. That's so I'm not as concerned about them being able to stop and just totally stump and neutralize the running game for Texas. But Kim Kardashian, Nicki Minaj, Serena Williams size, Cardi B size, Megan Thee Stallion size, Beyonce size, but I probably said all this last year too.
Right.
They found a way to beat Texas at DKR.
Oh my gosh.
So, all right, they're right.
At DKR.
So
bro.
I will stop having so much arrogance and hubris when discussing the Jayhawks. Man,
No, it's fair. You should have it.
No. But this is a different Jayhawk team, man, because they
Yep.
believe. They
And
believe. They believe they can beat you.
They're
Jayhawks,
bowl eligible.
Yeah, the Jayhawks have never believed that they could beat you. This team believes they can beat you.
Right.
That's a different monster going up there to play these, Jayhawks. So,
yeah.
all right, we'll get into that. Raj round today. We'll get into it a little bit deeper. Okay, let's talk about the Zags because we're going to the game and everybody's really excited about the Zags coming down. As a matter of fact, I was out at dinner last night with some friends of ours that are in town from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and that's just Zag country up there. So they were in town, went out to Lambert's, had a nice dinner, and guess who was sitting in the booth next to us? Coach Few. He was right there
man.
hanging out. They lost it. They just.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's how it's supposed to
like
be,
a
man.
Longhorn fan sitting next to Coach Steven. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like you're losing.
You're going to lose it.
So they had a good time, and but they were really excited about it because I think they're going to be more Zags fans in the mood than Longhorns actually expect. But getting back to the matchup, Harj, I think the biggest concern, at least for me, top of mind, and I think for everybody top of mind, is how do you stop Drew Timme? What's your plan? What's your plan for Drew Timme? Because last year they might have had a plan, but the plan was ineffective, right? He was at 37 last year, was 15 of 19, pretty much unstoppable.
Yeah.
Big reason why they had, a 20-point lead on Texas at halftime. So this matchup, something's going to be different. We don't know if he's going to be double teaming. It's going to be help defenders thrown at him constantly. But whatever it is, they got to have a plan for Drew Timme. What are your thoughts about what Coach Beard will throw at him?
Well, I remember he didn't want a double team, and that's not something that he likes to do. But I think now you've learned from it, and I don't think Gonzaga has someone like Chet Holmgren from last year where it was like if you double team Timme, you're going to kick it out to him, and he's going to be able to go one-on-one with whoever it is. So I'm looking at it as a totally different thought process. I think this is an NBA type of matchup for Dylan Disu. This is going to tell the NBA, hey, he's getting better. He's getting stronger. He's making that jump. I think this is a big opportunity for him in this game. But numbers-wise, I mean, Drew Timme's 6'10".
He's 6'10", man.
6'10" with moves. And I heard them talking about it today. I heard Zay talking about this, and I couldn't agree more. Don't go for the pump fakes. Don't get off your feet. Try to stay. This is the time, if you're a quick jumper, Like, you know those guys
Yeah.
that can wait and just jump real quick?
Yep.
If you can do that and not fall for the head fakes and all the moves that he's going to give you, because we know it. You've seen it.
Yeah.
If you watch film, you know that's his way to get you in trouble. And I know I kept talking about the referees. Those are the types of times. He pump fake you and you get off your feet. He's getting
he's
a foul.
got it. Yeah, he's getting it.
a foul call.
Yeah, he's too
can't-
savvy.
Yeah, he's a smart basketball player, and with age comes wisdom.
And he can hurt
he's
you
been around
with the
for
right
a while.
or the left, and that's
Right.
why it's so tough to defend him.
Right.
He doesn't really have a dominant side.
But
he
I,
hurt you with each side.
I definitely believe that you do have to double team and make the other guys beat you.
Okay.
That's exactly the game plan that I would go with. Now, obviously, Chris Beard knows more about this. And don't forget, I've known Chris Beard for 9 years now when he was coaching at Angelo State.
Yeah.
I knew him when he was an assistant coach at Texas
Told you how hard
Tech.
I know every damn about it.
He's a hard-nosed, defensive-minded, defensive-first
Yeah.
coach.
You're right.
And he wants his guys to apply pressure to the other team. Now, officiating, huge difference.
Yeah, we'll see. I think you'll be able to tell pretty early on how they're going to officiate the game, if they're going to call it close or they're going to let them play, so to speak. But Ken Pom has Texas, to your point about Chris Beard's identity of his program, of his culture, has him as the top defensive squad. Based on their adjusted defensive efficiency ratings.
Yeah.
So that's what that's going to be really the kind of the tip of the spear for Texas. And if you're going to consider yourself to be a defensive team, letting one guy beat you. Is especially the guy going into the game, is going to be he's going to be the identity of their offense. He is going to be what everything revolves around. You got to do something to disrupt that. So, we'll see early on what he decides to do. And to your point about Drew Timme and the moves and all the savvy moves, I think Zay calls him the modern day Kevin McHale or something like that. Man, he drew a ton of fouls in that Michigan State game. And it was basically just what you're talking about, getting guys off their feet, getting guys out of position, out-leveraging defenders. He ended up, I think if you look at the big men for Michigan State, was it Hall, Malik Hall?
I know you're talking about.
Is it Sissoko and Hauser?
Yep.
Man, they combined for 14 fouls. And 2 of those guys fouled out.
They're going to get you all of them.
And it was in the second half, man, he was doing exactly what you were saying, dude. He was got down low. And they basically stopped, the pick and roll game late in that game. They decided they were down double digits to Michigan State and decided, you know what? We're going to go ISO. ISO with Timme.
Right. Let him go to work.
And let Timme go to work. So they just spread the floor, let Timme go to work, and he just abused Michigan State. You can't let that happen because that will be their adjustment if they can't get their pick and roll game going or they can't really score in transition. Get into Timme down low and let him go to work.
One of the things that I always try to look at too as a coach, I always wonder why if a team struggles in the 3-point area or the mid-range, why don't you play zone against these guys? Make them shoot from the outside. Make them show you that is what we can do. Make you come out of the zone. And I know sometimes people say, a zone is lazy. Sometimes we're trying to win. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Why do you think Syracuse is so good at their zone? They play a 1-3-1 zone that make you stretch, that you can't pass in certain lanes and make you have to shoot the ball from far out. Those are some of the things that can help you kind of offset a player like Drew Timme, and it saves your guys from being exposed one-on-one.
Yeah.
And I understand we have to put in the work and you got to get better defensively, but if you're trying to win a ball game and you see a team can't shoot from the outside, why are we going to try to let them get on the inside?
It's a good point, especially with a weapon like Drew Timme.
Right.
I'm with you on
Make them
that.
show you that they can hit the outside shot where it's going to draw you back out.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. And the job should be easier this year, or at least the assignment, to try to neutralize Drew Timme because you don't have the Chet Holmgren threat. I remember last year, when you're talking about offense or defensively, Chet Holmgren basically would deter penetration in the lane because he was that kind of presence on the defensive side for them. But offensively, he would stretch the floor.
Right.
So you can stretch the floor, and Drew Timme would be even more impactful and even more of a threat, more lethal in that manner. So, I guess theoretically he should be easy to defend just because they're not the team they were last year.
Right.
Or at least they don't have the proven commodities
Right.
that they had last year. I should say that. But Julian Strother, he's going to be a problem.
Yeah, he's the one that's the mismatch problem.
The
He's
big
6'7".
Yeah, a big guard like that.
And we have guys that are not 6'7" that are playing on the perimeter. So he's a versatile swing man that can be on the block, take his man down into the block that's guarding him, and go one-on-one on the baseline. I mean, those are some of the things, too, that if you're playing a little bit of a zone, it kind of helps you out in that situation.
It's a good point there, too. Obviously Dylan Dessou, Texas' tallest player, will probably be matched up with Drew Timme at times, but it'll be it's going to take a village pretty much.
Yeah.
This will be a group effort. I'm sure that Christian Bishop's going to be a big part of that. Even Dylan Mitchell, I heard Patrick say, even using him as a help defender potentially on Drew Timme. Yeah, it's going to take everything Texas got to make sure he doesn't beat you. Somebody else can beat you.
Right. That's what I keep saying.
Right? Yeah.
Don't let him show out in front of his home state.
Yeah, it could be Malachi Smith or Strother or some of those other guys. Nolan Hickman. Maybe some of those other guys step up and beat you. Don't let it be Timme. Just don't let it be Timme.
Yeah, don't let it be.
Just don't let it be Timme. Okay, are we concerned? Okay, I think the second concern, obviously, Drew Timme is the biggest issue for Texas to try to figure out. Second would be the boards.
Yep.
Because as you've been pointing out all day long, there is a huge size advantage disparity with the Zags. And how does Texas really keep them from dominating Texas on the boards when they clearly have the size advantage?
Right.
At every position.
And that's the biggest thing. You have to crash. You got to box out. You got to make sure that you know where that person is. Make them come up over your back. You got to make sure that you're in front of them where they can't get those second chance shots.
Yeah.
Because it will be a downfall too because of what you said. The height advantage is obvious in every position.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have it. You don't have that. So what do? You get feisty. You get right up in them. You don't let them do things. You make them uncomfortable from the very beginning. That onset is something that is so, so tough.
Yeah.
And if you can do it early and let them know, hey, we're going to do this the entire time and provide that depth that you have, make the game. That's why they want to play slow and Texas wants to play fast. Because they know they got a size mismatch.
Yeah.
So if they walk it up the floor, they're going to get other opportunities, and they're going to control the game that way.
Yeah, you got a better chance of getting Texas bigs in foul trouble. You force them to play half-court D against Drew Timme.
Yep, exactly.
And Texas is going to run out of bigs.
Exactly.
And Texas can't afford to do that. To your point about the pace, last year the Zags were undefeated when they averaged 71 or fewer possessions per 40 minutes. And actually with a 19-point margin of victory in those games too. They were 17-4 though when the pace was more than 71 possessions per 40 minutes. So actually, when they slowed down the pace, they were a better team. You're talking about small margins here because that's just a really good team overall. But yeah, you want to, they've actually, when they slow down the pace, they're better probably because they can work their bigs in the half court. So if you're Texas, you want to run if you can. And your defense is your identity. You talked about this too, Harge, turnovers, but I would add to that specifically live ball turnovers so you can get out in transition and
you
go
want
run.
to get there.
And you run and go.
Yeah,
use
not
your
shot
athleticism.
clock, not shot clock violations.
Yep.
Opportunities on the perimeter, on the perimeter where you can get those transition buckets.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you. You said big game for Dylan Dessou. He's got to be the guy.
Yeah,
Right,
he
he's gotta
has
be the
to.
guy.
He's got to show up. This is an opportunity. This is an NBA game. This is where these guys are coming in. This is the matchup where all the scouts are going to be there. That's what I'm going to be looking for because they want to see how he works in this situation. They know what Drew Timme is. Dylan Dessou has to show what he's capable of.
Counter.
Let's not forget he did lead the SEC in rebounding. He was there when he was at Vanderbilt.
Yep.
So you need to go in there and show that you got your legs back and you're healthy again, and that'll open up a lot of eyes.
Yeah. The guy I'm going with tonight, Sir'Jabari Rice.
Okay.
I was talking to somebody in the know behind the burnt orange curtain with the Texas basketball family and talking to them about the team and how excited they are about the team, and they are really excited about this group. Got a really high ceiling. Talking about the guards for Tyrese Hunter and Marcus Core, and you're like, man, so Jabari Rice, he's got he's kind of a natural basketball IQ.
Mm-hmm.
Just knows what to do in the right moment.
He's another one that's long too.
Yeah, and they talked about he's big. They think he's going to be big in big moments.
Yeah.
That's basically what they told me. We think he's going to be big in big moments. Well, this will be a big moment. I'm sure there's going to be a big moment in this game.
Oh, for sure.
And if the coaches, if they were right about him, then yeah, he's going to be able to step up in those big moments. Somebody else who will step up in a big moment for you is Apple Leasing, because my friends at Apple Leasing, they know that time is money, and they're going to save you both. They're going to save you time, save you money, but also find value for you. That's what I love about my friends at Apple Leasing. They're working for you. They have the ability to put you in any make or model vehicle that you want. The professionals over at Apple Leasing can help you get the price you want, the payment you want on the car that you want, and it's really simple. All it takes is one phone call or one click on Apple Leasing's website, and you'll get a quote on any make or model vehicle that you want. They can even give you an estimate on the value of your trade-in right over the phone. See, Apple Leasing's simple interest, easy lease allows you to have a lot more flexibility, which is going to give you more possibilities and options to help you find the vehicle that fits you best, but more importantly, the vehicle that fits your budget best. Inflation is through the roof. We all know it. We all feel it. It's never been more expensive to buy a new car, buy a used car, buy anything for that matter. So leasing actually makes more sense than ever. You're only paying for the part of the car you're actually using. So call Apple Leasing today, 512-346-9977, and let them see how much money they can save you. Apple Leasing gets all the same incentives. They get all the same discounts that the dealers do, except my friends at Apple Leasing, they pass those savings on to you. All right, that's what because they're all about you. They're all about the customer. So give them a call, 512-346-9977, or visit appleleasing.com. That's appleleasing.com. All right, we come back. Raj, rant of the day. You know what we're talking about. We're talking about them Yardbirds, baby. We're talking about Texas versus Kansas. We'll get into the breakdown. And unfortunately, I hate to reveal this to you, Longhorn fans. You are not going to be the best offense in that game on Saturday. It'll be the Jayhawks. I'll explain it to you on the other side right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Austin is a beautiful city. We all love it. It is a magnificent city, thanks in no small part to the skilled craftsmanship of Ironworkers Local Union 482. They've been helping shape Greater Austin since 1935, and you see the labors of their love all over this great city with iconic landmarks like DKR Stadium and the Pennybacker Bridge. So if you've been thinking about, changing up your career, maybe frustrated with your career choices, I'd recommend joining my good friends over at Ironworkers Local Union 482. As this city continues to grow and thrive, so does Ironworkers Local Union 482. They don't go to the office, folks. They build it. So if you're looking for an exciting new career, you can become a member of Ironworkers Local 482 and accept the challenge of becoming the best version of yourself while helping shape Austin's economic development. Ironworkers Local Union 482 are hiring 3,000 people. That's right. Yeah, 3,000 people. And you can become one of these lucky people right now. There's a big project happening right now in Central Texas, and my friends over at Ironworkers Local Union 482, they're looking for skilled labor. So right now, you can become a member of Ironworkers Local Union 482 and take pride in great teamwork and craftsmanship that help shape the future of this great city. Maximize your potential and be your best self by applying at ironworkers482.org. That's ironworkers482.org. All right, welcome back to Rod's Rant of the Day. I want to talk a little bit about the Kansas Jayhawks. Time to start looking ahead to Texas' next opponent. And really, the thing you got to look at, that you have to focus on with Kansas, is that offense. I mean, it is one of the most prolific offenses and one of the most explosive offenses in the country. So just to give you the stats on it before we start breaking down the the philosophy and like the ideology of Lance Leipold and what he likes to prioritize and emphasize on his offense. We'll get to that, but just the stats. Their total offense, they're just 29th. By the way, all of these numbers are better than Texas if you want to compare them. They're 29th. Yards per play, they're actually 6th in the country in yards per play, averaging 7 yards per play. Texas 25th, not bad at 6.2. Their rushing offense, they're top 20. They're number 18th in the rushing offense, 210 yards per game. Third down offense, actually one of the best in the country, and they've been one of the best. They actually started out the season when Jalen Daniels was the starting quarterback. They were the number one third down offense in the country.
Yes.
And it actually wasn't even close. But now they just kind of dropped down to number 7 with Bean being the starting quarterback. Texas actually doesn't even have a ton of third downs because they get first downs on first and second, or at least prior to last game, they were doing that routinely.
1 for 13.
Yeah, exactly. So now they're 79th in third downs. Scoring offense, the Jayhawks are 17th. Almost 37 points per game. Longhorns are just 34th. And you start looking at, and even SP Plus has them, I think, 19th best offense. FEI has them the 12th best offense. And it's a really creative offense. And it's crazy because Hard talked about how Jalen Daniels got his first start versus Kansas. And that's really when they started unleashing a lot of these newer concepts. And these are not new concepts to Lance Leipold's offense, but when he first got to Kansas, you can tell he didn't give them the full complement of the playbook because his playbook it's really expansive. And there's a ton of freaky, crazy, weird stuff in it. And that's why it might be one of the most fun offense to watch in the Big 12.
Correct.
And I don't, like I said, I don't know.
Especially when they're rolling.
Yes,
when they're rolling. Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, there are really a lot of great multiple offenses. My man Jeff Howard talks about hybrid spread schemes in the Big 12 and a ton of those. K-State's got a really multiple offense. Texas actually has a really multiple offense, throwing a lot of different personnel packages at you, a lot of variations, a lot of formations. But Kansas, they may throw as many unorthodox formations and personnel groupings at you as any team out there. Based on the film that I've watched, I've seen. Basically, I call it a multiple option offense. They do run triple option. As a matter of fact, the stat that I read from this season, early this season, they basically have run. This is when Jalen Daniels was starting quarterback. So after that, it was hard to find the stats on Jason Bean. People stopped keeping up with the Kansas Jayhawks. But they at one point were the 5th most triple option snaps in college football. Basically behind the service academies is where they were.
Right.
Yeah, so they do. I call it a multiple option offense. Triple option principles from the shotgun, manipulating the mesh point and really testing eye discipline of defenders in the box and creating leverage with lots of pre-snap motion and a varied personnel package. And they do a lot of different stuff. And one of the things that I saw that I think Texas will see it now because Jason Bean has performed so well for them, they will use a 2-quarterback package with outside zone sprint out from a 2 QB package.
I remember the other day, I said, I was like, that's their other quarterback.
Oh, yeah. You put money on it, Texas is going to see it. You're going to see it. You're going to see the 2. They're going to use Bean and Jalen Daniels. And even if Jalen Daniels isn't healthy enough to start, you're still going to see it because they're going to want to play him.
Yep.
So you're going to see the 2 QB package. Be ready for it. I believe the earliest, I started researching this 2 QB package. The earliest I can remember is Princeton. Princeton used to run it like in 2014. They had a lot of reps with 2 quarterback packages. Ole Miss broke it out in 2019. So it's actually made the rounds. But I would say that recently, in the present, that I believe Kansas uses it as much as I've seen anybody in college football. You watch a lot of college football, Harsh. How many teams you've seen break out the 2 QB package?
Not very many.
Right?
Not very many like that.
It ain't a lot doing stuff like that. They also use what they call the Maryland I formation. The Maryland I is basically 3 running backs in an I formation behind the quarterback. So instead of just 3 with the I, having a fullback and then a tailback, and then the quarterback under center. No, they'll have the quarterback under center, they'll have a fullback, and then a tailback, and then like either a halfback or they'll have the H-back in front of the tailback. Oh, they call it's the Maryland I. These concepts have been out there, but he takes a lot of these weird, obtuse, strange concepts, and he just compiles them and just combines them to just throw a ton of almost cheat codes, if you will. Same thing kind of Sark does, force multipliers at the defense, just overloading their circuitry, overloading their central processing unit, and they just have too much to process, and then guys end up wide open, or you end up behind or a step behind, or the misdirection leads you astray. They're really good. That's why at that kind of stuff, that's why the I discipline is going to be really big. It's triple option. It's a discipline of football. It's his gap discipline. It's his I discipline. They also run the diamond formation, which is really cool, and they'll run it right around the quarterback, and they'll do a starburst snap where once the ball snapped, all the players in the diamond formation run in a different direction. And you just better be assignment sound and know exactly where your assignment is. Otherwise, somebody's going to be running wide blank open, which you don't want that either. We've
seen that before.
Yep. But this defense is coming off their best game ever. So best game ever under Sark, I should say. So hopefully they're building on that. You got to see the slot fade. They love the slot fade out of empty. And most of the time because they end up getting either a linebacker or a safety covering that slot fade. So you're going to see that too. It's basically a Y stick with a slot fade smash concept. They're going to run 20 personnel, which two tailbacks in the backfield, 0 tight ends, and they're going to go split zone. They always love that. Split zone bluff. They do it a ton. And that's also to really test the eye discipline of the linebackers or the defenders in the box. And
stressing you.
Just constantly.
Yep,
and Texas has the best in the conference, arguably, Jalen Ford, but it will be a test for him. They use a ton of orbit motion and misdirection with that as well. And, one of the things I also watched, they want to run the outside zone. They say the outside zone is their bread and butter play. And they'll run the outside zone with all those funky formations I talked about, the Maryland I formation, the diamond formation, 2 quarterbacks. They'll still run the outside zone just out of different personnel packages, different formations. But they run the inside zone last year more than they ran the outside zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they really want to do. And they'll basically end up running what amounts to triple option out of the shotgun with old school triple option principles. And all of these cheat codes and this amalgamation, if you will, of force multipliers by Lance Leipold it's really diverse. They run 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight ends, 13 personnel, 1 back, 3 tight ends, 11, 1 back, 1 tight ends, 10 personnel, 1 back, 0 tight ends, and just 4 wide receivers. They run 20, they run 21. I mean, 2 quarterback packages, you name it, they probably got it in their playbook, and he uses all of it. But what it's all led to is that they are one of the most explosive offenses in the country as a result of this. When I went and looked at plays of 20-plus yards or more from scrimmage, man, Kansas, how about this? They actually are tied with TCU. Remember we kept talking about TCU was one of the most explosive teams in the country? The Kansas Jayhawks, they're tied with TCU in 20-plus plays from scrimmage with 67. They're top 10 in the country, tied for 8th.
So
they're just as explosive as TCU.
That was my question.
If not more, actually.
Yep.
And they're 4th in 20-plus yard rushes from scrimmage. And they're tied with Texas, ironically, in the top 25 for 41 pass plays of 20-plus yards or more.
Interesting.
It's statistically it's a better offense than Texas right now.
Well, we've talked about their offense since the beginning of this year, but most importantly from last year. And I remember at the very beginning of the season, you were talking about how they burst on the scene when Daniels became the starting quarterback. And at one point, I think they went undefeated.
Yes, they did.
For a while
They did.
when he took over as the starting quarterback.
I think you're right.
And then when he got hurt, that is when they started to tail off a little bit. And then Bean comes in and shows what he's capable of doing. He's able to run the ball.
Yeah.
He's more of an outside runner. Daniels is more of the inside runner that can get to the outside. But, you see the explosiveness by this team. And you didn't even mention during that conversation, you didn't even mention Neal.
I didn't mention Neal.
And
So I'm
how
talking about
he's been doing on the running game.
Yeah, because we didn't get into the specifics of the personnel. I'm just talking about the system.
Right.
But you're right. They have the personnel now to fit in that system. We
Correct.
talked about Jalen Daniels, but yeah, man, they call him Real Deal Kevin Neal.
Real deal
Kevin Neal. By the way, you'll love this. He's on the baseball team.
Huh, imagine that.
He's a
sports star.
Two-sport star.
Yeah.
Born in Kansas, on the baseball team, and he's been spectacular lately. He's been really, really good. So, yeah, Texas will have to worry about him. We'll get into breaking down the personnel, obviously, all throughout the week. But, yeah, man, that offense, I can tell you right now, it is going to be a handful for the Texas defense.
Love it.
The Texas defense is up to the task because they just showed you that versus TCU. But here's my concern, all right? And I was up late thinking about this last night. This is my concern about the Texas TCU performance. And I hope that I'm just being paranoid. And I was up late night, so
let me tell you.
Yeah,
Let me tell you.
too
Let me
paranoid.
break it down because I was the same way Monday night. Remember I told you I came in here and I was like, I couldn't sleep. I could not sleep. No, I didn't take my Nexivo that night.
That's what got you.
But I couldn't sleep because my mind was thinking about Saturday, last Saturday.
Racing.
I couldn't turn it off.
Yeah, I had one of those moments last night. And I thought about, and I watched a little film, but then I thought about Gary Patterson and how obsessed he was with TCU and getting that revenge. And I thought to myself, he's definitely been studying TCU all season long. And he had probably the more knowledge of TCU than anybody on that damn staff, right? Which could obviously lead to Texas getting an advantage, whether it be schematic or whether it be, the tactical with the personnel reports and all that kind of scouting report. And I know once they got to be undefeated, TCU, trust me, he was probably studying them probably an hour a day and probably went to about 2-3 hours a day. He had some sleepless nights saying, no, I got to stop this monster I created.
Right.
I can't let these guys go undefeated. Now I got to try to take them out.
Exactly.
No. So something tells me he put in a little overtime preparing for that one. And we know now, because it was revealed to us, that he put in a ton of overtime preparing for Bama.
Yes.
And those are two of the most impressive defensive performances that Texas has had. But they also, I guarantee you, they had GP working double overtime on it. 3-4 months of work, months of work. Same thing with TCU game plan. That's months of work from GP.
Yeah.
That's not real football because real football is a week-to-week thing. And you can have that great performance, but I would say those two performances, the Bama game and the TCU game, they have those, in my opinion, those two commonalities that GP was very incentivized to get a good game plan together for TCU. And we know even Sark revealed, he's been working on that game plan for Alabama for months. Matter of fact, that's the task I gave him when he came here. We want to beat Bama. Can you help us?
Can you help us?
I'm on it, Coach.
Lead us.
I got it, Coach.
Lead us.
So that would be my one concern is that they had a lot of time to prepare, and I know they prioritized both of those games, Bama and TCU. Probably the best we've seen Texas defense look. And then after that, what happened? Tech happens.
Yep.
Right? And
Faded.
Iowa State happens. You're like, what happened to that defense that was pounding Bama into the ground? What happened to the defense that beat the hell out of TCU? Well, when you got extra time to prepare to come up with a really, really thorough, expansive game plan, that's what happens. But that's extra time. Football don't work that way.
Got you.
You got a short week. You got a week to get it done.
Here we go.
And you got to focus on the task at hand that week. And I know Gary Patterson. Now, maybe he went out of his way to prepare for Kansas because they should have. I'm talking about all the stuff that they throw at you. It's a lot. Like
It's
I say,
a lot
It's
to
like
break
playing
down.
a triple option, service academy team. And for Texas, I know they spent a lot of time on TCU, but they don't. I don't think Gary Patterson would have had the luxury of spending that much time on Kansas. So that would be my one paranoid concern.
And make sure that your eye discipline is in place.
Eye discipline, gap discipline, assignment sound. I mean, this is basically what it's all about. If you are not assignment sound, they will make you pay.
Yeah.
And you may pay a little. You may pay a lot, but they gonna make you pay for that.
Yeah.
Now the good thing is their defense is atrocious. Like, it's bad. They're one of the worst defenses. I'll give you some of their defense numbers. Kansas defense, 117th in total defense, 104th in yards per play allowed, 93rd in rush defense, 118th in pass defense, 122nd in third down defense, 103rd in scoring defense. So they're really bad on defense. If Texas is not able to move the football against the Kansas Jayhawks, ooh, we got a problem. We got a problem. We got a problem.
I think we're going to,
We got a problem.
I don't think
We got
we're going to
a
have that problem.
I don't think so either.
I don't think we're gonna have that
My
problem.
big concern really is more the defense,
Yep,
and
yep.
they're coming off of a great game. They should be on the high. They should be trying to build off of that.
Yep.
So that's why, because Texas is a more well-rounded team with two of the three phases being, in my opinion, quantifiably better than Kansas, Texas should win. But you're on the road.
Yep.
Your quarterback's not playing well. All right. And Kansas believes they can beat Texas because they did it last year.
They did.
That's my three concerns. Your quarterback's not playing well. You're on the road. It's going to be cold. All right. And they beat you last year, so they believe.
They believe that they can do
They believe
anything.
Especially with Jalen Daniels as the quarterback.
Right.
Like, oh, yeah, Jalen back. Oh, we definitely going to beat Texas.
Oh, and by the way, they're bowl eligible.
Yeah. So they got a high. They're riding the program high right now. And they're like, everything right now is found money for them. They're like, a bowl game for the Kansas Jayhawks football team?
Yeah.
This is way more than anybody ever expected from them. I think their projected win total was 2
I think it
prior
was.
to the season. And
They were not our people. They were not part of our
I will say
votes.
this. I remember I told every Longhorn fan, and every Longhorn fan agreed, take the over.
Yep.
We had seen that team. That team was going to win more than 2 games.
Yep.
And they shocked the world by doing so. Here are the 3 places, or the 3 factors I think will be the most impactful in determining the winner of this game. Turnover margin, because Kansas is really good turnover margin there. Number 26 in the country, +6. The Longhorns are just +1, 59th. Turnovers will be huge in this game, whether Texas can get them and whether they can take care of the football. Also, pass defense. One of the only things that Texas basically is just as bad on defensively as Kansas is pass defense. They're 118th, and Texas is 90th. So Texas is really bad at pass defense, and so are they. They're going to try to take advantage of that. And third down defense. Texas is not great. They're 94th, and they're not great either on third down defense. They're 122nd. Their third down offense, top 10 in the country, number 7. So Texas third down defense better come to play. Third down defense, pass defense, and turnovers will determine this game for Texas.
Love it.
They got to win 2 of those 3.
Let's go, baby.
All right, we'll come back. We'll get into a little more off the record on the other side. I don't know if these 2 things are connected. One is a scientific study that's giving the human race some bad news, and the other one, I guess, is good news. We'll talk about it on the other side, right here on Ball Don't Lie. 104.9.
It's your boy Hardball Harge here, and I want to talk to you about my friends over at Quick Roofing. I've been talking to you about the weather, and some of you may have noticed that you have some leaks, or there was some bad weather and the wind came through here, and you might have some shingles that are missing. Do yourself a favor. Reach out to my friends over at Quick Roofing. Go to quickroofing.com. You need to contact them immediately because you don't even understand what's going on with your roof until it's too late. You get a free, no obligation inspection. You get 7-year workmanship warranty. Quick Roofing is fully insured and has all state and local licenses. Quick Roofing doesn't even require any money up front until 100% completion and, of course, 100% satisfaction. Quick Roofing also requires that a project manager is at every job site ensuring that the customer gets everything that they were promised. So what are you waiting for? Do it today. Get that free inspection right now. Go to quickroofing.com right now. quickroofing.com.
Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. The feature of midweek movie music. It is Superfly today. My man Patrick takes jams from the soundtrack of a movie that inspired him, and he takes those songs, plays them for us for midweek movie music, and we're supposed to be able to guess exactly what the movie was that inspired him for midweek movie music. And my man Harge got it on the first try. It was pretty easy, and it was Superfly. Just that, and it was great because Curtis Mayfield, of course, on his own, the lone artist who did the soundtrack for Superfly. So basically, a little tribute to Curtis Mayfield as well. All right, let's get to off the record while we got a little time here. I mean, this is I guess a celebration, and people were talking about this earlier this week. The global population has officially crossed 8 billion people, I should say. 8 billion people. And more than half of those people live in just 7 countries. Said China has the world's largest population, 1.4 billion people. Then India, 1.4 billion. All right, expected to claim the title next year. They're supposed to surpass China potentially, which is crazy. The next 5 most populous nations, U.S., Indonesia, Pakistan, Nigeria, and Brazil, together have fewer people than India or China. In fact, China's population is greater than the entire population of Europe or the Americas, and roughly equivalent to all, basically of all nations in Africa.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, actually. So there you go. I guess people are. Are we celebrating this? The 8 billion people? It's
No.
a lot of people, man.
You know whose fault it is? Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon and
Elon.
and what you call
Elon's got a bunch of them, too.
Cromartie too.
Yeah, Cromartie. He had a post vasectomy, baby.
Yeah.
That's all. It was hard to have.
I don't think he really did. He just told the people, "Yeah, I think I had a vasectomy." I went
Really?
in there. I think.
Have
he
you
told,
had a vasectomy?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, you saying like you?
I know how that works.
Did you go to Dr. Dick Chop?
No, I went to my man,
Okay.
Dr. Mystery.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Yeah.
And if you spell his name, it's called Mistry. But I got mine right, bro.
You got it right?
I got mine right.
Apparently, because maybe you would know, obviously I wouldn't. They said that Antonio Cromartie just didn't follow the instructions.
That is
apparently there are
very true.
instructions that you get
there are
about how
instructions.
the post whatever post procedure stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot
And if
that
you don't do
happens.
that, then it could kind of blow up in your face.
Yeah, literally.
Okay.
Yeah, because you get in so much pain if you don't go by what is going on and take care of
Oh, no,
yourself.
that ain't good.
You have to follow the rules because you think you're okay.
Yeah,
But
and then some
you're
stuff that
really
goes wrong.
not. Yeah.
You got ice? Have you iced the
It's
area?
peas, the peas.
The peas.
You got to get the peas.
Ice the peas.
Ice
with
the peas
ice
with the peas with the peas.
The
That's
peas
right.
with the peas. There you
Yeah,
go.
it's a game changer.
That is a game changer.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I don't know how. I guess we are just kind of on the same vibe here. But I did read a scientific study that basically sperm counts are dropping around the world. It's crazy.
Well, it's probably because of what we just said.
I don't understand how
A lot of people
the
are,
population is blooming, right? It's just ballooning, if you will.
No.
It's blowing up. But
well,
then
people are
sperm counts
realizing
dropping.
too. It's like, nah, man, we can't be having no more childrens around here.
But yeah, there you go. I don't know if those. I don't know if those two are connected or not. But there you go. It's
Well,
kinda-
they waiting on Rob B to bring it in, baby.
They
They waiting on Rob B to help bring in some more population.
Rod B, not that I know of. I don't have any offspring yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I still got time.
Yeah, you
I
and the
still got
missus,
time.
y'all working on that.
All right. We'll come back. We'll get into the last hour of the show. And we'll also get into some Cowboys news, notes, and nuggets. Texas, Kansas preview on the other side. Harge and I'll break it all down for you right here on Ball Don't Lie 104.9. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about Steiner Ranch Steakhouse. Well, you already know about Steiner Ranch Steakhouse. The best views, along with the most exquisite cuisine and the best service of any restaurant in Central Texas. And you also know about the Steiner Ranch Steakhouse experience. Well, what if I told you you can bring the Steiner Ranch Steakhouse experience home for the holidays? That's right. This Thanksgiving, they have what they call their Thanksgiving family feast. Now, we know every Thanksgiving, everybody sits around, hanging out with friends and family. It's a beautiful thing, watching football, having really good food, and you sit around in a food coma, and you have to answer those dreaded question: who's cleaning this mess up? Well, you don't have to worry about that with Steiner Ranch Steakhouse's family feast for Thanksgiving. It's their Steiner Ranch Steakhouse heat and serve menu allows you to choose what items you would like prepared by the skilled chefs at Steiner Ranch Steakhouse, and think of it as your own personal chef for the holidays. Thanks to Steiner Ranch Steakhouse, you can enjoy Texas hickory smoked turkey or smoked prime rib, both smoked to perfection, and it feeds up to 20 people. So let my friends at Steiner Ranch Steakhouse take care of the food this holiday season so you can focus on having fun with the family. You can pair the Texas hickory smoked turkey and the smoked prime rib with succulent sides and desserts like the lobster mac and cheese, the sweet potato casserole, and the bourbon chocolate pecan pie, completing a Thanksgiving family feast that your family will love and enjoy. Plus, you didn't have to cook and you don't have to worry about cleaning up. That's what I call a great Thanksgiving. Order your Steiner Ranch Thanksgiving feast by November 19th online at steinersteakhouse.com. That's steinersteakhouse.com. Limited quantities available. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn, and courtesy of my man Patrick, the movie featured from midweek movie music, Superfly. That's right.
Curtis Mayfield.
Curtis Mayfield. Yeah, I will admit, listening to this soundtrack for Superfly makes me realize I need to go buy the soundtrack for Superfly.
Oh, yeah.
I
It's
need to
smooth,
have it.
man.
Yeah, I don't think I even have it
Just ride.
available to me. I need that. It's good ride music.
Good
I
ride.
might ride to the Texas Zaga game tonight.
Listen
Jamming
to the
Superfly. Yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a Superfly atmosphere. You dig?
Well said, sir. It will be, no, Superfly atmosphere. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But we've been talking a lot about that. Let's get to Texas, Kansas. Haven't talked enough about Texas, Kansas, and I don't know if we can ever talk too much about Texas, Kansas. What is stressing you out early on this week leading up to the Texas-Kansas matchup?
Well, the numbers that you just gave, and it has nothing to do that I think that the defense won't be able to show up.
Yeah.
It's just the fact of the changes and the type of offense that Kansas runs. It's not your traditional type of offense. It looks nothing like TCU's.
No.
You know, so all the game planning that you did for TCU, you have to scrap that, and you can't bring any of that to this week's game because it's a totally different approach.
Yeah.
We talked about it in Rod's rant. The eye discipline is going to have to be a major
gonna be
part
crucial.
of the success and the failures of this team.
Yep.
There's a lot that is going to be going into this. So those are the types of things that I continue to look at and say, okay, where is Texas' stress level going to be at? It's going to be, you got to be on your A game to play against Kansas.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the weather is going to be rough. It's going to be not traditional for what you're used to seeing, but you're going to have to go out there and play, and you're going to have to try to attack them and not let them get themselves in a rhythm either.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I can't wait to see what the defensive game plan is going to be versus this multiple option attack from Kansas. Devin Neal, and we talked about him yesterday. They call him Real Deal Kevin Neal, and honestly, I'm going to use the nickname because he deserves it.
Yeah,
the last couple
he's earned that.
He has. The last couple of weeks, he became the first player in Kansas Jayhawk history to have over 200 yards rushing and 100 yards receiving in a game against Oklahoma State. Did some workhorse stuff. We're talking about 32 rushes for 224 yards, 6 receptions for 110 yards. I mean, you're talking about for 38 total touches for 334 yards. I mean, that is workhorse
Putting
stuff.
in work. Yeah.
And that was 2 weeks ago. At basically versus Oklahoma State, and then the last game at Texas Tech, he didn't quite do so much damage, but he did have a great game on the ground. 24 attempts, 190 yards rushing overall, but 7.9 yards per rush against Tech, 7 yards per rush versus Oklahoma State, 7 yards per rush versus Oklahoma. 5.9 yards per rush versus TCU, 6.3 yards per rush versus Iowa State, best rushing defense in the Big 12. Oh, he's been on a tear. He's averaging almost 7 yards per rush on the season. He has been lately playing his best football hearts. That is a huge concern for me if I'm Texas, considering that triple option, multiple option spread attack that they're going to present.
Right, and then you got to be disciplined enough on the back end too. Because if you get caught up with the way that you're thinking about this running game, they can throw the ball over the top. I mean, they've got good receivers. They've got a good quarterback, whether it's going to be Bean or if it's going to be Daniel.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be disciplined enough because this team has gotten better. And each quarterback, you talked about the 2 quarterback sets a little while ago. You start looking at how they approach this. This is a tough look, because of the confusion that they're going to cause you.
Oh, yeah.
And they will stretch the field. They definitely can stretch the field.
They want to. Lance Leipold is on the record for saying their offense is built around the explosive play.
Yeah.
And they want explosive plays down the field. So he does. He wants to attack teams down the field, and he uses a lot of the misdirection, the eye candy early on to get you enamored, fixated on stopping the run, the eye discipline, the gap discipline, making sure your assignment's sound, and then boom, they want to stress you deep.
Yeah.
They want to stretch you out and stress you horizontally and vertically. They do a really good job of it. And like you said, they'll use the 2 quarterback package, and they'll really pair that up with outside zone, sprint out. They'll throw in the old Maryland I formation or the diamond formation. You're just going to see
there's
so
that
much
diamond.
stuff.
That's what I need. I need that diamond. I need Texas to use that diamond some too.
Well, they'll use it. They're 30 and 31 personnel. So they're as diverse as any offense in the Big 12. And honestly, probably as fun to watch offensively as any offense. But I can tell you, not fun to prepare for. An offense that presents you with so many layers of complication and sophistication.
And don't let Jared Casey beat you. That's the tight end.
Dude.
That's the one that was partying last year.
He's the one that got the
deal.
NIL deal.
Yeah, Applebee's.
Yeah, man. Don't let that. But honestly, I was watching film, and I love the way they use him.
Yes.
They do a good job of using the fullback as a fullback H-back, Jared Casey, and he's been great for him.
Yes,
Honestly,
he's
he had
been
his
big
coming
for
out
him.
party versus Texas.
Yeah, man.
He's been really good for him since then. So I think that the biggest concern for Texas will be their Texas defense matching up against one of the best offenses in the country. They are 6th in the country right now in yards per play. 7 yards per play, and their third down offense, Hards, that really worries me. They're 7th in the country in third down offense, and you remember when Jalen Daniels was healthy, they were first. They were number 1 in the country with a healthy Jalen Daniels, and it looks like if he's not going to start, Jalen Daniels definitely will play, and I think he's going to start. My man Jeff Howe's got some connections, obviously, through Horns 24/7 and the 247 network, and he said he thinks he's going to play. He thinks he's going to start.
Yeah. I mean, he provides so much to you that you've been missing. I'm not saying that they're not afraid, man.
Yeah.
They're not afraid. Quentin Skinner, too, somebody we need to pay attention to. He's got 5 touchdowns this year already for them as a wide receiver, number 83.
They really believe in that system. And I believe in it, by the way. I've studied that Kansas. I told you I started studying Kansas early on in the year because I was like, man, they may be trouble. I started studying that Lance Leopold system, and it is fascinating, all the concepts that he's brought together there. But it's all built around them trying to generate explosive plays, and job well done in 2022.
Job well done.
They're one of the most explosive offenses in the country. But I'll throw this out there, and I think this is where Texas has a huge advantage. Havoc rate is something that I've been keeping up with and that I love. It's a great stat. Essentially combines splash plays for defenders, right? So you're talking about tackles for loss, sacks, PBUs, interceptions, forced fumbles, and fumble recoveries, splash plays for the defense. And as a team, Texas actually leads the Big 12 in splash plays as a defense. They even if you look at their secondary, even their front 7 as individual units and look at those rates of havoc, still Texas has if you look at it, the best front 7 for wreaking havoc and one of the better secondaries for wreaking havoc. It's not the best. I think Baylor and TCU secondaries are better at wreaking havoc than Texas is. But still, I think Texas is probably like 3rd in the Big 12 in terms of your secondary havoc rate. But if you look at overall team havoc rate, Texas is 1st. Kansas, last. Last. They don't make a lot of splash plays on defense at all. And you go look at Texas. Jalen Ford is he's 4th. He's 4th in the Big 12 overall in havoc plays for individual players. Behind Tyree Wilson, Al Walcott of Baylor, Danny Stutzman of Oklahoma. Yeah. So Jalen Ford is right there in that conversation. But it's strange, only one Kansas player, and you got Deshaun Jameis on this list for Texas too. Jahdae Barron's on the list. DeMarvio and Overshown's on this list of probably top 25 best havoc individual players or best individual havoc rates in the Big 12. But you have Kansas, only one player, Lonnie Phillips, makes it.
Lonnie Phillips.
He's got 11 and a half havoc plays. He's a junior. But they don't have a lot of guys that make splash plays defensively for Texas. That's really good because you're dealing with a quarterback who's obviously experiencing some growing pains. He's been struggling, but you don't, at least based on the the statistical analysis, you don't have to worry about Kansas getting in the backfield, being very disruptive, getting a lot of tackles for loss, a lot of sacks, a lot of interceptions, getting their hands on footballs. Now, I'm not saying they're not going to make some plays. They will make some plays, but not as many as you've seen against TCU or your K-States or even the Iowa States. This is the worst playmaking defense in the Big 12. That's basically what they have it grades say.
And
they're the worst playmaking defense in the Big 12.
And that's why you keep talking about the fact of the offensive side of the ball for Texas. If they can't score against this defense, then we have a bigger issue.
Yeah, we got a big issue.
We got a bigger issue in that. And the fact, too, we talked about it. I mean, the weather, and I know we keep talking about the weather. Both teams are going to have to play in it. But if you have a struggling quarterback that hadn't found his groove, and then you have to go to a place where the wind is going to play a factor.
Yes, it will.
It's a big question mark. It's a big question mark. And that's why, you've been saying it all year. Let's smother that thing in some Bijan.
Put some Bijan on
the
it.
run game has to be better supported this week than it was last week.
Totally agree.
They gotta take a little bit of pressure off of Quinn. And you were talking about making the team one-sided. Can't do it. Texas has to be a balanced unit, being able to run and pass when they need to.
Yep, totally agree with you.
Yep.
And against Kansas, like I said, I'm not trying to mock their defense or anything, but just as good as they are offensively, they are just that bad defensively.
Yep.
Like I said, the total defense, 117th in the country. Yards per play allowed, 104th. Rush defense, 93rd. Pass defense, 118th. Third down defense, 122nd. Scoring defense, 103rd. So, as Harsh mentioned, if you can't score the ball and move the ball against this Kansas defense, and they're making splash plays against your offense and against your offensive line, then we do have a bigger issue. And the bigger issue to me would be, and I'm going to watch this too, when you watch that Kansas game, see if Kansas is using some 3-high, 3-down concepts. 'Cause I know they don't run it. It's not what they do. And Texas had to face K-State, who runs it, and TCU, who runs it, and Iowa State runs a 3-high, 3-down. Basically, everybody in the Big 12 starting to run. Oklahoma State run their own concepts of the 3-high, 3-down. And we know Sark's offense only score, on average, 25 points per game versus the 3-high, 3-down. That's his kryptonite. That's what brings out Coach Steven. All right, he's Coach Sark until he sees that 3-high, 3-down. That's the kryptonite that brings out Coach Steven.
Everybody get involved.
So I don't know if they would do that. That would be a pretty drastic thing to do, but hell, why not? If I was a defensive coordinator, I'd be like, guys, this week we're working 3-high, 3-down because we're facing Coach Steven. All right, this is the way I'd go with it. And I don't know if you'll see that, but Kansas, if they do make a lot of splash plays and they're able to frustrate and discombobulate the Texas offense, you know what that means.
Yep.
That means the recipe and the blueprint to beat Texas is out, and everybody's got it. Everybody got it. Everybody got it. Everybody knows how to replicate it. You stack the box, sell out to stop the run on run downs, blitz your linebackers from the second level, run blitz through the interior gaps, the A and the B gaps, because it's really hard for those young offensive linemen to pick up those guys. You on passing downs, unfortunately, all you gotta do is double X-Man, take X-Man away, and make them beat you with somebody else, and then get after a young Quinn Ewers and make Quinn Ewers beat you because he right now can't.
Yeah.
Right now he can't.
Right.
So if Kansas is out there beating up on Texas defensively, then that means that blueprint's out, and they're just following the recipe. They're just following the blueprint.
And a lot of times you don't have to be that guy. If the blueprint is there, you don't have to try to think, oh, I can make it even this. I can do this. No, just go by what other teams have done, coach it up that way, and you will have success. I mean, it's proven.
Yeah, that's why Texas got
a proven method.
It has been. Unfortunately, it's been proven. Oklahoma State did it. K-State did some of it, but they didn't double X-Man as much as they needed to on like certain situational passing downs.
Right.
And I think TCU, they perfected the game plan. The problem with Kansas, they can replicate the recipe. They don't have the ingredients. But if they, like I said, they have success, then we know, man, something's a little bit off. But it's all about Quinn Ewers and how comfortable Coach Steven is willing to make Quinn in this game. And I think a lot of that can be, remedied with a quick game. Quick game. Get the ball out of his hands quickly and get it into the receiver's hands, and just get him into a rhythm, get him into a groove, get him confident. I don't give a damn if he's throwing the ball vertically downfield. I think you can still move the ball. You got good athletes. Jay Witt showed that too, that can work in space. Just give him the football and create space. Instead of throwing it deep, create the space with your offensive genius and just get the football to your players in space.
Make it.
Playmakers in space. That's
Make it happen.
That's what I want to see in this game versus Kansas. So really looking forward to the game plan defensively for Texas because they're coming off one of the best game plans and one of the most I would say the best executed game plan for Texas too, all season long. So we'll get into that a little bit more, obviously, as the week goes on. Let me tell you about my friends over at Hot Cat Tequila because it's my favorite new tequila. As a matter of fact, I'm going to ride share to the Zags game tonight, and I'll probably take a couple of shots of Hot Cat Tequila to make sure I get the mood right. You got that, the pun there, mood, yeah. Anyway, Cat stands for cinnamon, agave, and tequila, and the recipe is just as simple and just as brilliant. It's just cinnamon, agave, nectar, and tequila. So light, so smooth. Hot Cat Tequila is a tequila lover's dream, and if you're not a fan of tequila, Hot Cat Tequila will make you a fan of tequila. Hot Cat Tequila will turn any event into a party, and every party feels like a celebration. So celebrate and turn up with Hot Cat Tequila. Once you try Hot Cat, you won't go back to that old cinnamon whiskey or that cheap tequila you ordered rounds of when you were just trying to get the party started. Turn up your party, turn up your tailgate with Hot Cat Tequila. No football tailgate or watch party is complete without Hot Cat Tequila. Best way to pregame for the big game, concerts, festivals, or a night on the town with family and friends. Hot Cat Tequila is best served cold for a quick round of shots or to sip on the rocks when you're just trying to chill or throw something on the grill. Visit cattequila.com to find a store near you that sells Hot Cat Tequila or a bar near you that serves Hot Cat Tequila. Or when you're at your favorite watering hole, you're at your favorite liquor store, your favorite bar, just ask for a Hot Cat Tequila. Turn up with Hot Cat Tequila. All right, we'll get back to some more Texas-Kansas conversation. We haven't talked a lot about the Cowboys, haven't talked about the Texans at all today. It's been a big Texas sports day, if you will, talking about Texas and the Zags. I was talking about Texas versus Kansas. So we'll now throw our attention to the NFL. We'll talk about the Cowboys adding a receiver, but maybe not the receiver that you hoped they would have added.
Nope.
Jerry Jones commenting on the receiver you hoped they would have added, and also a receiver for the Houston Texans stripped of his captaincy. We'll get into all of that and more and preview the best, I think it's the best NFL matchup of the weekend between the Cowboys and the Vikings.
I think so too.
Right? And we'll get into it. Hopefully the Cowboys can show up. All of that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn.
We've been talking about game planning for all week and all season. And one thing that you need to make sure that you're making sure that you're game planning for is your future. Are you tired of your financial advisor's only game plan is to tell you to ride it out? When standing eye to eye with the market volatility, you want a financial advisor that won't tell you to just ride it out. Instead, you want somebody working alongside you, helping you navigate through today's market roller coaster. You want Ken Banks with Equitable Advisors Austin. Ken works with his clients, and he looks at his clients as individuals, not dollars, not stats. He wants to make sure that you're not just riding it out. He wants to make sure that you're doing everything possible to make sure that your money is in the right place. Does your financial advisor work with you and communicate with you regularly? Ken Banks, he does. He will return your call within 24 hours. That's right. Within 24 hours, you'll get someone to talk to you, and that'll be my man, Ken Banks. You can call him today at 901-679-9157. Together, you can plan your future and get something that reflects who you are. Don't just ride it out with the other guys. Talk to my man, Ken Banks, at 901-679-9157. 9157. That's Ken Banks with Equitable Advisors Austin. 901-679-9157.
Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. We played jams from a soundtrack of a movie that was inspired by my man Patrick. And he plays those songs for us for midweek movie music. And we're supposed to guess exactly what the film was based on those selections. And my man Harge got it. First Shot.
Boom.
Easy peasy.
Boom.
Superfly. And it is really a tribute to Curtis Mayfield, who actually did the entire soundtrack. And it's a damn good one. So thanks to my man Patrick for working hard. We appreciate his effort. But he's out actually at the Mood right now. So shout out to my man Corey, who took his place twisting and tweaking the dials there. All right, let's get into the Cowboys discussion here, Harge. There are a couple of stories we got to hit. First of all, the Cowboys added a receiver. Now, most of y'all, if I had told y'all the Cowboys added a receiver, you'd be like, they got Odell Beckham Jr.? No, it's not Odell Beckham Jr. It's Antonio Callaway.
Huh?
Yeah, they signed the receiver Antonio Callaway. He worked out for the team last week. Callaway attended the Colts rookie minicamp in May, but he was last with a team in 2021 when he signed a futures deal with the Chiefs. He spent 7 months with the Chiefs before they cut him in August of 2021, and he was a free agent since then. Callaway appeared in 5 games for the Dolphins in 2020 after serving a lengthy suspension and caught 2 passes for 20 yards before Miami cut him. He entered the league as a Browns 4th-round pick in 2018. Oof. There you go, Harge. Hey, some wide receiver help.
Yeah, he got cut, though, from another team.
Well, hey,
what I'm saying?
one man's trash is another man's treasure.
That is very true.
There you
And
go.
I would have to agree with that. So I'm going to give him his opportunity to come in. He's going to the practice squad first. But it was not the actual wide receiver that America's team was thinking when they heard they got their man.
Yeah.
Everyone initially thought it was going to be Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, here's what Jerry said about Odell on 105 through the Fan. He said, when they asked him, did CeeDee Lamb's big day, remember CeeDee Lamb had that big day receiving?
Yeah, 10 receptions.
Yeah, best day he's had so far this year as the number 1 receiver for the Cowboys. And Jerry said, I don't think so. He said, a talent like Beckham is additive. It stacks up on top of, we think, a lot of what CD is capable of being for this team. Beckham is really about what he can get us substantively above where we are. The answer is, we'll see how that is. I still don't actually know. But
I mean, what did he say?
It stacks on top. I read the quote.
Yeah,
It stacks
I know,
on top
stacks
of.
on stacks.
We think a lot of what CD is capable of being for this team. Beckham is really, can he get us substantively above where we are? The answer is, well, see how that is.
Oh my gosh.
The answer is, we'll see how that is. I love Jerry.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
love
Like
Jerry.
that
The
mug
answer
wants you to
is-
think for a long
I
time.
know, you're
like,
like, what?
okay, what did he?
I love
So
it.
are we getting him or not?
I don't know. I
That's
still
what
don't
I'm
know
saying.
after
Like,
reading that.
That's where I'm at.
Here's when they asked Jerry Jones about signing Odell Beckham Jr. He said, in this particular case, start by asking, why is it you're able to sign him? Ask that question. Why? Well, it's because he's not on the team. And at this time of year, a player of that caliber, that's rare. It is because we're dealing with a situation where he's free, but potentially very capable of helping a team right now and right now win and play at a high level. I love Jerry. I love it. I love it.
Sometimes you just gotta let it play out, I guess, right?
I guess 'cause
That's what it is.
I cannot decipher whether he is close to signing Odell or not at this point. He also said that'll tell you alone that it's a rarefied set of circumstances and those don't just happen, or this wouldn't be possible. What wouldn't be possible? You ain't signed him yet.
Why is he free?
You did.
But he is not free because it's gonna cost me. He's dropping bars.
He is.
Jerry's
He really
dropping
is.
bars.
Oh man, I love it. So I actually think you're gonna sign him. I do. I think when it's all said and done, the Cowboys are gonna get Odell Beckham Jr. I think he's playing hardball. I think he's trying to get the best deal.
I mean,
I think he
well,
believes
his
he-
problem was he signed with Bitcoin. He got his whole signing bonus in Bitcoin when he was at LA. So what he's trying to do is get some money back.
He needs the money now.
Yeah.
He needs that cash.
Yeah, he put himself in that
And
situation.
this might be his last
This is definitely
Good
his
contract.
last, I think.
Yeah, right. It's the last big contract. I mean, from
But is it a mercenary deal, or is it
know.
going to try? Is he thinking personally?
Yeah.
I want to be a renter, wide receiver moving forward.
I think he's trying to sign a 2 or 3 year deal with the Cowboys if he signs it, right?
Well,
Because it could
I'll take him
potentially
for 2.
It
I'll
could
take him for
potentially
2.
because if Odell Beckham Jr., you know your skills are now starting to dwindle,
Yep,
right?
yep,
You're starting to
correct.
lose some of it. Father time and injuries have caught up with you. Why would you want to be, man, potentially on the free agent market again
Right.
after you already seen you've lost some value, obviously? Because if not, some team would already snatch
Somebody
you up.
will snatch.
They would have snatched you up by now.
And you know, at one point he was talking about the Rams again, but the Rams aren't a team that's going to be contending. I don't see them as that threat
Not right
anymore.
now.
Especially now Cooper Kupp is on the injured reserve.
Yeah.
They put him on IR, so maybe that's who they go get
You
to
got a
try
good
to
point.
replace him.
That's true.
You know, and he's comfortable in that area.
Yeah.
He likes being out there. But then there's other teams. You know, a team that I thought should have went and got him that hadn't made a move yet was Baltimore Ravens.
It's not bad.
You know what I'm saying? They need a big play guy. But then we always revert back to the fact that you let Hollywood Brown go.
Mm-hmm.
And for the Cowboys, you let Amari Cooper go. So you're putting yourself out there. So now I'm about to give him more money than what everybody I was looking crazy for.
Almost kind of admitting you made a mistake
you made a mistake.
by letting the other guy
So
go.
you know what I'm gonna go do? I'm gonna get Mr. Cab Calloway and get him out here where I don't look as crazy because this is a guy that just got released from somebody, and now I get a chance to work him into this situation.
No, that's a good point. I still hope the Cowboys can put aside their pride.
I agree.
If it is about, that conversation and the perception of them and their front office and just get the deal done, because I think it would help out the Cowboys to have another threat. Like I said, this is not a move about the regular season.
No.
If you sign Odell Beckham Jr., that's a move about the playoffs, because that's when he'll be comfortable, familiar with the system, and probably is much healthier than he is right now coming off of the rehab. So I think the Cowboys are going to do. I haven't heard really any other teams mentioned with him.
Right.
You know what I mean? The Vegas odds have the Cowboys with the best odds to get Odell Beckham Jr., and I haven't heard many teams. Like you said, I don't know why, because I'm with you. I think your Ravens idea
Right.
is money.
Right.
That is money. I don't
That's
know
who they
what,
need. They need that guy.
I don't know what they're waiting on. But it's a great point, too. And I think we all agree Lamar Jackson's had a hard time convincing receivers to come play for him.
And
MVP
this is your
quarterback.
perfect opportunity right here.
Yeah, no doubt. I like that. A little bit about the Minnesota Vikings matchup this weekend for the Cowboys. I saw this little stat because we got some Texans news that I want to get to just really quickly. Out of 73 8-1 teams that there have been in NFL history since the merger, so since 1970, there have been 73 8-1 teams like the Minnesota Vikings. They have the second worst point differential of all those 73 teams.
Wow.
The second worst point differential of
Wow.
any team who has been 8-1 since the NFL merger in 1970. But the Kim Kardashian, Nicki Minaj, Serena Williams size, Cardi B size, Megan Thee Stallion size, Beyonce size, but is the Raiders have the worst, 1976 Raiders have the worst point differential of any 8-1 team, and they went on to win the Super Bowl. They did have John Madden, though, the GOAT. One of the GOATs. Yeah, John Madden.
Okay.
So there you go. I mean, they just saying of all the 8-1 teams, they're not as impressive historically as 8-1 teams usually are. They're not winning in a dominant fashion.
It's a miracle every one of the games. It's coming down
Especially
to
last week.
They would not be in the college football playoffs because they have not controlled the games.
Yeah, they got it's not a beauty pageant
Yeah,
because they
exactly.
win ugly. But you know what? I think it's part of it's Kirk Cousins too. If you see a team that's 8-1, you're thinking their quarterback's playing at a really high level.
Yeah.
And really, he's not. He's playing at an okay level. Like he's playing at an above average level, but he's just 11th in yards per game. That's okay. That's not great. 19th in completion percentage, 19th in QBR, 16th in passer rating, 23rd in yards per attempt. He's not killing it.
Yeah, but
He's
got
not,
some weapons.
He's got weapons, and he's not beating the team. They're not.
He's not turning the ball over
Exactly.
a ton. Yeah. So I'm looking at these scores of their wins and losses. Green Bay, they won 23-7. They lost to Philadelphia 24-7. So there's your balance right there. That's where the number comes back. And then Detroit, they won, and it was late in the game, 28-24. They beat the Saints 25-28.
Oh, yeah.
They beat Chicago 29-22.
Man.
They beat Miami 24-16, and I believe that was the game Tua got hurt.
I think you're right.
They beat Arizona 34-26. They beat Washington 20-17, and they went to overtime. Should have lost the game. Could have won the game. Lost the game. Then won the game this past week against Buffalo.
Hold up. So all their games have been one-score games?
Yes, every one except for
Except that.
Green Bay one
Okay.
and the game that they lost against Philly.
Wow.
Every other game has been a one-score game.
Damn.
To your point about the point differential.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
wild. I didn't realize that. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
But that's bad news for the Cowboys. But listen, they know how to win close games.
Yep.
So
They
they don't.
definitely have been in the
yeah.
mix for that.
They don't panic when it's a close game late. They just know how to pull it out and win it. Real quick, I heard, but I saw this quote, I should say. I read this quote from Jaron Kearse, the safety of the Cowboys. He says that Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the league.
Yeah.
He said, quote, he's the best receiver in the league. The tape doesn't lie. You can say whatever you want to say. You turn on the tape and you see it. He gets open against everybody. He plays well against every opponent. Every top corner you put in front of him, he's going out and he's making his plays. The tape doesn't lie.
Yeah.
Is Justin Jefferson the best receiver in the league? You agree or disagree with Jaron Kearse?
I mean, I saw Keyshawn Johnson talking about it. He had him ranked number one. Keyshawn did.
Really?
He had Justin Jefferson ranked as his number one wide receiver.
Who would you
in the
take
league.
ahead of him? Tyreek Hill?
I
I'm trying to
would
think of who's
Jamar Chase. I mean,
Chase is
he's
in
hurt,
there?
but he's hurt.
Chase
but
is in that
yeah,
conversation,
Chase is
too.
right there.
He's right there.
Stephon Diggs to me is a good wide receiver.
Devontae
too.
Adams is like, hey, guys,
Devontae
don't forget
Adams.
about me just because I'm on the
Right.
West Coast.
That's why we forgot about you, dog. That's why.
Let's go
But-
with Derek Carr.
Yeah, but even now he's starting to get the ball the way he's supposed to, and you're seeing the productivity coming back up.
Yeah.
He's killing it right now. But you look at what Justin Jefferson has been doing lately, you can put him in that conversation.
100 yards receiving in 4 of the last 5 games,
Yeah.
and that catch he
That
had
cat, yeah.
the last game.
Did you
And
see
it's
the
funny.
DB after the conversation in the locker room?
What'd he say?
Come on, bro.
Exactly.
I just got to knock it down.
Go-
Come on, bro. I got to just knock it down. That's what he kept saying. He was saying it to himself because he was the one covering him.
Yeah, gotta knock
he
it down.
said, all I had to do was knock that ball down. I'm up here trying to make a play, and I thought there was no way
He's gonna catch the ball.
he was going to catch
yeah,
that ball.
I'm with him too. I was like, dude, you can't blame yourself for that.
Yeah. Knock it down.
98% of the human beings who have played wide receiver in the
Exactly.
NFL don't make that play. You can't beat yourself up over that, man.
Yeah.
Human beings not supposed to make that kind of play, and he did. That was superhuman, exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, for the Texans, just really quickly, Brandon Cooks saw this story, just thought it was worth bringing up. He was stripped of his captaincy, his captain status by the Texans. He was listed as inactive last week against the Philadelphia Eagles with a wrist injury. And we know he had some personal issues, and he may have had some issues with the Texans as well, with Nick Caserio and the way that he handled the trade deadline and his status with the team. He's 29 years old in his 3rd season with the Texans. Like I said, missed some time because of personal issues, but Ian Rappaport reports that Cook was allowed to regroup and clear his mind after last week, after the team failed to trade him at the deadline, when he tweeted out, quote, "Don't take a man's kindness for granted."
Yep.
Covered for the lies for too long.
Ooh.
Those days are done. Crossed the line with playing with my career.
Come on, man.
That was a tweet once the trade deadline passed, he tweeted that out. It was cryptic, but we
We knew what was going
know
on.
what's going on there. But yeah, he's been stripped of his captaincy now, and I think it's a good move by the Texans. I mean,
For sure, because he's been a mental case at this
Yes.
point
It's been a
where
distraction for
he's
the
been a
guys.
big distraction, and he hadn't shown that leadership because it's a business. You understand that. You understand that when you got in the league. It's a business. So if you're not able to adjust to what's going on around you,
yeah.
that's showing a lot. I know there's plenty. You're not the only player that's been lied to, bro.
That's kind of what I'm getting like. Are you serious?
You're
mad because
not the only one.
Your boss was a little dishonest with you. And
Yeah.
led you astray.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club, man.
Well-
It's like, I'm with you on that. I think it's his fault for signing that extension. It's like, did you not know
Yeah.
the Texans are rebuilding? Did you
Right.
not know Davis Mills was going to be your quarterback?
Well, he didn't think his homie was going to get fired either. You know what I'm saying?
Being homies with Jack used to be your first issue. That's your first
You
problem.
should have known
You
then.
need, you need new homies.
Yeah.
All right, for real. But you're right. He was upset about that
Yeah,
because, apparently they were real close and were going to church together, that kind of stuff. But yeah, you got to understand, it's a business, like you said. You can't
Yeah.
get your feelings
You
hurt.
cannot get your
He
feelings
told
hurt,
you he
bro.
would trade you. He couldn't trade you. Nick Casario screwed it up. He shouldn't have signed him to the extension. And then Nick Casario tried to get a second-round pick for a 29-year-old Brandon Cooks and make the team, make the Cowboys pay $18 million of that salary. Come on, man. Jerry Jones, he was born at night, but not last night.
Hello.
All right, we'll come back. We'll wrap it up, put any of it, let you know what's on tap right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. It is a hump day, and nothing gets you headed downhill over the hump to the weekend like Bud Light. It's a perfect beer for any occasion, especially those weekend occasions. And the weekend, these days, is all about football. That's right. College football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, and the perfect complement for all of your football festivities is Bud Light, America's favorite game and America's favorite beer. That truly is a championship tag team. So this weekend, whether you're getting ready for football watch parties or you're getting ready for football tailgates, make sure both are stocked up with Bud Light, the world's #1 light beer, the world's favorite light beer, and the sure sign of a good time. Because Bud Light turns good times into great times and the rest of the times into the best of times. And that's what I love about Bud Light, and you'll love it too. As a matter of fact, if you love Bud Light but also love the Longhorns, got good news for you. Bud Light, the official domestic beer sponsor of the University of Texas, Texas Exes, lifetime Longhorns like myself, and the Red River Showdown. So now, when you're rooting on the Longhorns, your favorite team, you can do it by rooting with your favorite beer, Bud Light. They also have commemorative burnt orange bottles now to commemorate and celebrate the fact that Texas and Bud Light have now joined up, and now they are the ultimate championship tag team. So, folks, remember, Bud Light brewed right here in the heart of Texas since 1982 by Texans for Texans, and proud of it. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Time to wrap it up and put it in the oven. Before we do, a couple of little topics we got to clear up here.
Yeah.
So apparently we were having the conversation about the best wide receiver in the NFL, and we had like 3 different people hit us up on the Spec Text line and say, hey, Cooper Kupp, guys.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, we forgot all about it.
And I literally just talked about it.
You had literally just like, and one texter was like, is it because he's white? No, it's not because he's white.
No, it's not.
It's because we're just ignoramuses and we forgot about
completely
the
forgot
Triple Crown
about-
winner from
Exactly.
last season and how good he was, and Harge had just talked about him. So, yeah, we apologize. Cooper Kupp should definitely be on that list.
He was the Triple Crown winner. Yes.
Yeah, so, yeah,
Yeah.
it ain't because he's white, and if it is, that racism is
Accidental.
boom, or at least unintentional racism, guys.
Unintentional.
You know it ain't never
That's right.
deliberate, all right? Appreciate the texters, all your participation. You guys have been great today, as always. If you missed any part of any of the shows, please go to hornfm.com. You can catch up with them on the podcast page there. Okay, real quick, though, before we get out of here, Harge, what's on tap for you? I already know what it is, but tell me anyway.
I'm going to the mood.
That's right, baby.
I'm going to go see if I can run into CDC so he can see us and know that we are in the building so he won't make fun of us anymore. And I probably need to make sure I bring some headphones in for my daughter
You probably do.
because it's going to be so loud.
They
in
should
there.
sell, like, earplugs there.
They
I don't know why you don't. It's like the
That's
little kind of
another
plastic
reason
bags.
I want to bring my own because I don't want to be paying for that much.
That's true. That's,
You know they gonna get that.
$18.
That'll be $18. As a matter of fact, they disposable.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, this is just some styrofoam. Right,
Exactly.
You right about
Exactly.
that. Yeah, I'm going to the mood too, so I'll
That's
see you
right.
there.
No
And I'm
doubt.
right. I'm gonna be representing because if I see CDC, I'll be sure to let Big Perm know.
Yeah, let Big
The
Perm
Ball
know that
Don't
we're
Lie's representing.
in the house.
In the
Patrick's
house.
already there. Shout out to my man Corey holding it down for
Appreciate
Patrick.
you, Corey, for coming in, stepping in, and also thank you to Nick Shuley
Yep.
and my man Wills. Wills, who is the overseer, if you were the president of the Texas One Fund.
El Presidente.
Yeah, go to texasoneFund.org, and it's a great new initiative by the university to try to consolidate as many of the Longhorn associated name, image, and likeness entities that they can get. And now you have official not only endorsement from the university with these different collectives, but also the Texas coaches now can also endorse certain collectives and certain NIL initiatives and opportunities. So that's
Yeah,
really
remember
good, too.
we went to the fundraiser last year and we were trying to figure it all out, and they were like, no coaches can be here.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of that. So it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense then. Now, everybody's everybody now.
You damn right.
Let's go.
And Texas should be leading the way.
And that's what they want to
That's
be.
what they want to be. So we appreciate Wills and Nick coming on with us as well. I want to thank my man Corey for doing a great job as always. Thank Patrick as well. And thank my man Harge. Remember, the revolution will not be televised. We'll be talking about it right here on Ball Don't Lie. We love you guys. We mean that. Take care of yourselves, but more importantly, take care of each other. Be safe tonight and hook 'em.